This guy is only 12 years old and has been sent to hunt a giant shark. The hunting method is very unusual. They directly throw him down as bait for it. This is basically a death sentence. Then they give him a wooden stick which Quan doesn't understand at all. Well, something is better than nothing. He adjusts the shark's jaws. He struggles to climb ashore. But people's hearts are even more cruel. They want to force him to catch a fish, or the tribe will be humiliated. Quan wisely replies that it's not that he can't catch fish, but that he will use his own method. Soon after, he wraps a coil of rope over his shoulder, making everyone wonder what the heck he's planning. Then he hooks a big piece of meat onto his homemade fishing hook and throws it into the lake. Everyone thought this guy was just babbling nonsense, but immediately they were all stunned silent. A giant fish is pulled ashore by Quan. Just like that, he passes the warrior test. Master Than curiously asks him how he did it. Quan slowly explains this is called fishing with a hook made from deer antler. This big fish likes meat, so by using meat as bait when it bites, the hook catches tightly in its mouth. Then all you have to do is pull it up. The naive girl never expected such a clever method. Using this method, the tribe won't have to fear starvation during winter. Also, ordinary people can fish without risking dangerous hunts. Master Than also wants to try once, but no fish bites his hook. At that moment, the lake surface ripples, and he immediately tells his sibling to pull the rod. Than pulls with all his strength and unexpectedly catches the legendary kingfish, amazing everyone. With just that tool, he caught the legendary kingfish. She is overjoyed like it's a bumper harvest, proudly showing off. Remember, she was the one who wanted to sabotage him before. At that time, he was sitting mashing the giant grilled fish, mixing flavors with fruit wine, making the aroma so strong it was almost overwhelming. A white tiger was attracted by the scent and couldn't resist trying to get some. Quan just gave a sly smile. Immediately, the whole tiger falls straight into the trap he set. The white tiger roars angrily. "How dare you ambush me?" This shocks Quan. It can speak human language. He himself is a high-level mechanical engineer transported to this primitive world. Many things remain mysteries to him. The white tiger swiftly jumps over the pit wall, forcing Quan to run with his pants slipping down. Quan quickly turns his vehicle 180 degrees, inviting it to try the delicious grilled fish and spare his life. The white tiger was about to bite back, but gets hit straight in the face. Then Quan quickly pulls the rope. A mechanism pops up from the ground and strikes the tiger's head, stunning it. Taking the opportunity, he grabs his grilled fish and runs off. The white tiger is furious, chasing and yelling. "Are you going to stand still or what?" Then Quan is cornered against a high cliff with the white tiger right behind him. You can tease dogs, but teasing tigers means you're ready to die. As it lunges forward with its claws, Quan suddenly jumps down without changing his expression. From his back, wing-like structures spread out, helping him glide before landing, not forgetting to give a friendly middle finger goodbye to the kitty. "Who dares to mess with me?" The white tiger is very angry but can't do anything. A puff of smoke surrounds it, quickly transforming into a beautiful girl. She is Than from the Than Man tribe. Unable to swallow her anger, she swears to make him taste suffering. Behind her, her guards have caught up and head straight to Quan's VM tribe. At the gate of the VM tribe, Quan has just returned, surprised to see a huge rhinoceros standing there, not knowing where it came from. The gatekeeper approaches and asks why he's only just back. There is a big celebration in the tribe. Quan feels puzzled. Seeing his confused face, the gatekeeper explains that the great Hudaka tribe has come to bestow blessings and personally conduct the awakening ceremony. Curious, Quan quickly runs toward the tribe's center. He is only 12 years old and not yet qualified to participate in the awakening ceremony. In the courtyard, a chubby boy throws a large antlered deer down from his shoulder onto the ground. Tan just arrived and heard people around talking about the ancestral spirit above. It's a giant antlered deer. Another person excitedly said, "No wonder he's the son of the great elder Koi. It seems he has a good chance of awakening this time." Seeing the crowd talking about him, Koi smugly greeted everyone in the tribe. Since childhood, Koi has been personally trained by the great elder, hoping he will become the next generation, a Koi of the Flame tribe. Suddenly, a giant antelope was thrown to the ground. The contemptuous glance of the newcomer flicked toward Koi, who was boasting about his strength. People started gossiping about the young man who just appeared. His name was DM, the son of the second elder. His strength was no less than Koi's. Some even believed DM was stronger than Koi. All tribe members believed the tribe's development would depend on these two. Tan stood aside quietly, thinking, "I wonder what these two have been eating to grow so fast, their bodies overflowing with raw power." At this moment, a middle-aged man waved for Diem and Koi to come over to him. The two boys glanced at each other with unfriendly looks. The rough, loud voice of the middle-aged man rang out, "This awakening ceremony is extremely important. You must succeed." Ngojian Ha-Koi personally sent Hudaka to observe. Both Diem and Koi became excited upon hearing that Hudaka would come. Seeing the two boys' excitement, the middle-aged man encouraged them, "Do your best and seize the awakening." Sitting by the fire, Azan turned and saw Tan standing behind with a smiling face. He patted Tan's shoulder and praised him, saying he had a strong father. Although he didn't participate in hunting, his talent in crafting stone weapons was impressive. Azan reminded Tan that he must observe the awakening ceremony carefully this time. In the future, he will have to inherit his father's glory. Tan looked confused and puzzled, glancing back at a large, middle-aged man carrying a stone pillar on his shoulder, taking heavy steps forward. You could see the stone pillar on his shoulder was very heavy. When the man placed the stone pillar on the ground, a loud noise echoed. Tan muttered, "Oh my, how heavy is this thing?" The middle-aged man with bulging muscles threw the stone pillar high into the air. Tan and the tribe members behind were terrified by this extraordinary strength. The beast tattoo on his back began to glow, radiating a powerful aura. He roared loudly, "Hudaka!" He leapt onto the stone pillar. After standing on top, he channeled all his body's strength into his legs, pressing the stone pillar firmly into the ground. Witnessing this unbelievable scene, Tan couldn't help but panic and exclaim, "Is this even human?" Standing on the stone pillar, a middle-aged man with a stern and majestic expression shouted, "Ancestral spirit above eternal flame, everlasting radiance." At his feet, the entire tribe shouted in unison, "Huga, Huga!" As the crowd quieted, the middle-aged man ordered, "Have the tribe leader bring the children over 15 years old up." He declared he would personally preside over the Flame Tribe's awakening ceremony. The tribe respectfully responded, "Ancestral spirit above, presided over by a great flame warrior like you. That is our great honor." Tan muttered under his breath, "What kind of title is Flame Warrior?" He was only 12 years old. According to the rules, Tan had to wait 3 more years before participating in the ceremony. The teenagers were brought to stand around the flame pillar. The middle-aged man's voice rang out powerfully. "Young generation, you all know that only by becoming strong flame warriors can you have the power to protect your tribe. A tribe can only grow strong with the help of flame warriors, and only powerful flame warriors can use their strength to fight against the darkness." Hearing this, Tan pondered deeply. Darkness, the power of the flame warriors, seems to hold many mysteries. It's best to observe first. The middle-aged man continued, "The Flame Tribe's flame warriors wield fire. They can draw the spark's power from the flame pillar, lead it out, and help the teenagers before us awaken. If the awakening is successful, the spark will appear on their bodies immediately." He activated the flame pillars. Flames burst from the stone pillars, forming a sphere of light enveloping everyone standing in the center. The 3 leaders of the Veem tribe stood outside full of hope that someone would successfully awaken. 5 years had passed, and the tribe had yet to have a single child succeed. Inside the sphere of light, flames suddenly appeared on the bodies of Elder Koi and Elder Diem. Excited, he quickly told the tribe chief, "Look, ancestors above the 2 children have awakened. Our Veem tribe finally has heirs." Everyone knelt down, facing Diem and Koi to thank the ancestors. Tan whispered curses. "This whole group is superstitious." Suddenly, the flames on the pillars flared up fiercely. The unexpected event made the middle-aged man standing outside uneasy as well. In everyone's eyes, a mass of blue flames shot straight from the center of the pillar toward Tan. Everything happened too fast. Tan couldn't react in time and was engulfed by the blue flames. He opened his eyes in panic, observing his body. Tan realized the blue flames were surrounding him, seemingly possessing a soul. They were joyous to see a relative again. The tribe chief and elder were excited to see Tan had also awakened. Their Veem tribe was about to prosper. But Tan panicked when he saw the blue flames rushing into his chest. A strange tattoo appeared on Tan's chest, then gradually faded as if it never existed. The middle-aged man hurried over to ask Tan about the unusual color of the flame. Tan looked confused and asked back, "Is there a problem?" He was asked to release the flame seed to observe it just like Koi and Diem had done. The Veem tribe chief quickly explained, "Kudaka, this boy is only 12 years old, not yet old enough to awaken the flame, so he doesn't understand what you're saying." He turned to Tan. Close your eyes, calm your mind, and try to feel the flame seed. Following the advice, Tan closed his eyes. His mind suddenly drifted into a strange space surrounded by stars. Just as he was bewildered, a sound rang out, making Tan turn his head. Before him was a huge black hole that terrified Tan. He opened his eyes wide awake. The middle-aged man quickly asked Tan, "Have you felt the flame seed yet?" Tan shook his head and said no. The Veem tribe chief grabbed Tan by the collar. "Why not? We all saw it with our own eyes." The middle-aged man suspiciously asked, "Are you sure you didn't feel the flame seed or any other flame?" Tan asked back, "Does the black hole count?" Both looked confused, not understanding what Tan meant. Tan tried to describe the shape of the black hole. It could suck in everything, but they still didn't understand. For the first time, Diem and Koi said in unison that Tan hadn't awakened yet, so he couldn't feel anything. The recent incident was just a coincidence. The surrounding tribe members also agreed that Tan hadn't truly awakened. The second elder suddenly spoke maliciously, "Koi, the flame on Tan is really strange. Could it be related to darkness?" The senior elder added, "Tan just mentioned something about a black hole. Could he be connected to the dark forces?" Their words made the VM tribe chief thoughtful. He turned to the middle-aged man, hoping with his knowledge he could point to a way out. The middle-aged man's voice rang out, "Although I've never encountered this before, if it's related to darkness, it can't be taken lightly." Noticing the suspicious and aggressive looks of everyone, Tan realized he had made a mistake and wanted to leave immediately. However, the middle-aged man lunged forward to attack him. Just as his fist was about to smash Tan's head, a shout to stop echoed. The middle-aged man stopped and turned to see who dared to order a flame warrior like him. Before him stood a majestic lion with a fierce demeanor approaching. Everyone in the tribe knelt simultaneously, bowed their heads, and shouted, "Mudaka Huga Huga!" Tan was confused by this title. Wasn't this the big cat that had fought with him over food? The lion blinked and disappeared, revealing the form of the tribe leader Mudaka. Seeing this scene, Tan forgot everything. He jumped forward, threw his arms around the middle-aged man, and shouted, "Ah, the big cat has become a spirit." The leader approached Tan. His voice rang out, "We meet again. Everything that happens in the Flame Tribe is observed by an old man through the mysterious bowl in his hands." The young man behind shouted, "The invisible flame appearing, then disappearing, is the flame that cannot be seen." The old man continued, "The invisible flame, the fish that cannot be caught, the abyss that cannot be reached." His eyes sparkled with seriousness. The final prophecy had begun to come true. The young man behind showed doubt. Has the one chosen by heaven truly appeared in this small tribe? The old man raised his hand to the sky to activate the formation, his voice booming. "It's time to depart. A long-distance transmission formation has been formed." Chin turned back to the Flame Tribe. A middle-aged man pointed at Chin seriously. "This kid is strange. Please have Mudaka deal with him." Thang approached and asked Chin's name and if he knew who he was. "Chin imitated, according to everyone in the tribe, address you as Mudaka, Great Mudaka." Than smiled slightly. "If you already know that, guess how I will deal with you." Not knowing what Chin was thinking, his face flushed red, stammering, "I am not a reckless person." Chin lowered his voice. "I don't know how Mudaka will deal with this, but I'm afraid I can't help you." Abba's revenge. Than and everyone in the tribe didn't know who Abba was. Chin began telling the story about Mr. Abba, a kind man living alone in the mountains who once saved him from wild beasts and treated him well. A month ago, Abba saved a wounded white tiger, but when it recovered, it ate him. Chin swore to avenge Abba. The tribe members listened and trusted Chin. Than asked, "So you attacked me earlier because you wanted to avenge Abba?" The chief and the elders were terrified upon hearing that Chin attacked Mudaka. Chin immediately admitted, "Although you and that beast look very similar, you are not the same. I am Yan Chin, a warrior who has made mistakes. I am willing to accept any punishment, but I have one request: please spare my tribe." Chin's words moved the tribe members, who believed that although he was young, he had the spirit of a warrior. After a while of awkwardness, Than seemed to realize Chin's clever plan to evade punishment. He deliberately made himself look like a warrior to everyone, preventing Than from punishing him. When Chin's throat was dry from speaking, Than's voice rose. "The Flame Tribe has a warrior like Chin, and as Mudaka I feel proud." They listened to the praise. Chin closed his eyes to enjoy it, secretly thinking I originally planned to rely on my looks to make a living, but unexpectedly had to use real talent. Not only was Than not punishing me, he even wanted to reward me. She declared she would confer upon him the 9 eternal Da-Do ceremony. Chin was completely clueless about the meaning of this ceremony, but the crowd behind the Flame Tribe was extremely excited, repeatedly shouting "Huga." Upon hearing the news with a solemn tone, Than declared, "I am the daughter of Wujian Hakoi of the Thanman tribe. In the name of Mudaka, I bestow upon Chin of the Flame Tribe the Da-Do ceremony. May the divine tribe bless our warrior." After the prayer, Chin was lifted into the air by the large tribe members to celebrate. The Flame Chief asked Than at what level the ceremony should be held. He was stunned when Than decided to perform it at the highest level. Everyone immediately knelt down to give thanks. This honor was not given to just anyone, but Chin was still confused and didn't understand what was about to happen when the Flame Chief called him over to thank Mudaka, his voice full of excitement. The Da-Do ceremony is the highest honor granted by Mudaka. No one in the Flame Tribe has ever received this honor before. Kneel and give thanks to Mudaka. Than waved his hand, saying it wasn't necessary, and requested the chief quickly prepare for the trial. Chin was still confused about what he was about to face. The chief patted him on the shoulder warmly and said, "As long as you pass the life-or-death trial, you will become a Da-Do warrior." Chin felt extremely terrified. Seeing Chin's pale face, Than smiled slightly. When Chin caught that fleeting smile, he suddenly understood everything, secretly cursing this girl. "I'm screwed." Standing by the lake, watching the fierce, predatory fish circling under the water, Chin felt chills down his spine. Clearly, Than was plotting to trap him, not granting a favor. Luckily, he was smart and used fishing techniques to easily pass the challenge. A mysterious old man appeared, his voice ringing out. Finally, the prophecy has come true. The fish that cannot be caught is the giant Lulu kingfish. Chin felt like he had seen it somewhere before, but couldn't remember clearly. The guard threw a fire ember at the fish, but the fire did not burn it. He shouted Mudaka exactly the Lulu kingfish. Than stood before the fish, his voice ringing out. Hunting the ancient 100 monsters is the first step in the battle to claim the prophetic land. Our Mudaka tribe has seized the opportunity. The guard still didn't fully understand, so Than explained the ancient prophecy that the conqueror of the 100 monsters would enter the prophetic land. The guard doubted this prophecy. No one had ever achieved it before, yet now it seemed possible. Another elder's voice interrupted. The final prophecy has come true. The guard was stunned. He was a Dodang warrior assigned to protect Than, but hadn't noticed the stranger approaching. The elder and a young man stepped forward. The guards blocked them, shouting loudly, "Who are you? Stop right there." The powerful aura from the elder caused 2 guards to cry out in pain. Than was also terrified by the strong spiritual pressure radiating from the elder, which emitted a mysterious cold energy. The middle-aged guard gritted his teeth and unleashed all his Dodang strength, fiercely charging the mysterious elder. But with just a wave of his hand, the elder blocked all his efforts. Despite his great strength, the guard couldn't advance a single step. The atmosphere was tense to the point of suffocation. Than suddenly shouted loudly, "Stop immediately!" She quickly knelt down respectfully, her voice solemn. Than of the Mudaka tribe respectfully greets Master Daroy. Than was confused, not understanding who Daroy was, that Than would show such reverence. Seeing Than kneel, the surrounding crowd quickly followed suit, shouting over and over, "Huga, Huga." Watching from the side, Than suddenly noticed the mysterious characters on the elder's right shoulder, seemingly Vutu script. Could he be a sorcerer? Than questioned with a doubtful expression, but did not directly answer the elder's question. He praised them for successfully conquering the Lulu kingfish, calling it truly excellent. He revealed the purpose of this visit was to offer everyone a chance to participate in the Sun Hai trial. Hearing Sun Hai Tan suddenly jolted. He remembered that the familiar Lulu kingfish was a monster described in the Sun Hai classic. A thought flashed, could an ancient civilization have existed here before? The characters on the elder's body were indeed the legendary Sun Hai classic script. Than worried when he saw Daroy use a secret technique to unlock the Sun Hai trial, fearing it would cost the elder's life. But the elder only smiled, saying, "I am Daroy, this is my mission." The faint symbols gradually appeared, and Than recognized them as Oracle Bone script. The aura from the elder grew stronger, causing Chief VM to fearfully pray to the ancestors for the tribe's protection. But Tan was horrified to realize that aura was dark power. Normally, dealing with dark power is everyone's responsibility, but strangely, everyone seemed to worship the elder. Whereas before, if Tan accidentally mentioned dark power, they would want to kill him. Blood trickled from the elder's mouth, worrying the young guard, but he only gently said he was fine. Then he announced that anyone under 18 could participate in Trial 3. The crowd buzzed upon hearing that the reward for completing the mission was a divine Dodang weapon. The chief and second elder were excited because success would give the tribe 2 more Dodang weapons, greatly boosting their strength. The elder chief encouraged everyone's spirit, saying the tribe must fight. The crowd enthusiastically shouted "Huga Huga." Tan silently observed, feeling how terrifying the primitive people were. Daroy raised his hand to create a portal, inviting those who wanted to join the trial to step through. Thang didn't hesitate, transforming into a lion and rushing straight into the portal. Daroy silently admired the young Mudaka. Indeed, he was no ordinary youth. He warned the others of the dangers inside, but the crowd still enthusiastically shouted, "Brave warriors of the VM tribe, fear no death." Tan stood quietly muttering, truly a group of crazies rushing into death. He planned to slip away, but was startled to see Aaron standing right behind him. Aaron invited Tan to join, but Tan firmly refused. Diem and Koi immediately grabbed Tan, pulling him toward the portal. Daroy murmured, "Fire cannot see, fish cannot be caught." Once everyone had entered, he whispered, "Who is the final chosen one by heaven to save all living beings?" His words faded into silence, carrying a terrible secret about humanity's fate that he was hiding. In the Sun-High training area, Tan was drawn to the red hue covering everything, making him feel this place seemed familiar. After wandering around for a while, Tan and his group realized they had returned to the same spot. Diem and Koi showed panic when they realized they had wandered into the recently awakened dark zone. How could a spark of fire stand against this dark force? After calming down, Diem and Koi suggested everyone act together, since this was just a challenge created by Daroy, not true darkness. Tan held Koi's head, recalling that he seemed to have missed something important. Suddenly, Daroy's voice rang out, announcing Than had passed the first gate. Tan was quite surprised at Than's lightning speed, even though she didn't want to participate. Tan also didn't want to be outdone by that petite girl, thinking that he rushed forward, leaving the stunned group behind. Tan ran while shouting loudly, "We are the proud warriors of the Flame Tribe. No matter what dangers lie ahead, we will win." Hearing Tan's call, the group fired up and shouted, "Huga Huga," as they quickly chased after him. Actually, Tan wasn't as brave as everyone thought. He believed the first gate wasn't too difficult because Than passed it easily. If there were monsters, Than would have cleared them first. Tan was shameless, but I like him. Tan quickly realized he had been left behind as others passed him by. He was shocked to see large, curled-up figures rolling past him like balls. Could this be the strategy of the armored infantry? Then there was another group moving by, leaping high steps forward. Tan stared wide-eyed as they gradually disappeared. He felt ashamed watching these primitive people's movements, but still tried hard to keep up. Tan angrily shouted, "You 18-year-olds bullying me, a 12-year-old kid, shame on you!" After running for a while, he saw no sign of anyone. Tan had to stop panting, lamenting the twisted bodies of these primitive people. He couldn't understand why they ran so fast. Suddenly, Tan saw the group running back toward him. What is happening? While confused, Tan heard Koi shout, "Run fast! Something is chasing the group." They rushed into the surrounding trees in panic. Tan and everyone were horrified to see the silhouette of a giant monster emerge from the dust cloud. It was a giant salamander. Tan felt lucky he wasn't the first to charge in. The monster lunged to attack someone nearby. Seeing the monster's ferocity, Tan ran while shouting for everyone to escape. Suddenly, a second monster appeared, making Tan yell, "What the hell is that? Why are there two?" Someone in the group spotted a narrow path ahead. Tan quickly dashed into the narrow alley, escaping the attack from the two monsters. Looking at them, Koi sighed. "One is already this strong, and there are 3 here." Tan muttered in his mind. Than must have encountered these monsters. After careful observation, Tan noticed wounds on the monster caused by Than. Diem proposed splitting into 2 groups to attract the attention of 2 monsters. The remaining group, along with him and Koi, would ambush the 3rd monster. They were confident because they had awakened the spark of fire and could quickly take down 1 monster. Everyone focused, waiting for Diem's signal. Diem and Koi summoned the leading flame and charged forward. The others also rushed in. Tan helped wounded warriors stand up, and they all joined the fight. Tan silently admired how brave the primitive people were. Tan stood watching as everyone followed the plan. Two monsters were attracted by the two weaker groups, creating a balance, but DM and Koi's group was overwhelmed despite awakening the spark of fire. Clearly something was wrong. DM and Koi attacked fiercely while the monster was vulnerable. They combined their strength to strike a powerful blow. DM shouted, "Quick! Now's the time!" Everyone pushed a large log into the monster. DM was happy their plan succeeded, but the joy was short-lived as the group froze, seeing two new monsters appear. Why are more and more monsters showing up? The more we fight, monsters have appeared in other groups too. DM shouted, "I don't believe we can't defeat them!" The whole group rushed back into battle but was quickly surrounded. Tan mumbled, "This doesn't make sense. Monsters splitting but looking identical violates the law of conservation of energy." A thought suddenly flashed through Tan's mind, grabbing his immediate attention. It seemed he had found the solution to this tough problem. Tan hurriedly ran up the mountain peak where there were many large round stones. He realized the problem lay in the splitting of the beasts. Each time they split, although their shape didn't change, their strength was dispersed. This meant that after a few more splits, these monsters would be no more than little puppies. Looking at the monsters surrounding DM, he thought the warriors couldn't give up. He was about to risk his life to break through and make a bloody escape when a rock fell from above, crushing a monster. Both were surprised and didn't understand what Tan was doing on the mountain peak. Tan asked them, "Do you know the principle of the lever 701? The secret technique passed down by a master to me? It can lift the whole earth if there's a fulcrum." Primitive people didn't study science, so both just looked confused, not understanding what Tan was talking about. "This is bad, they're starting to split again." People at the foot of the mountain shouted as more monsters appeared. DM tried to stop Tan because he thought Tan's actions would only cause the beasts to multiply more. Tan shouted down from above, "Hey, the higher you stand, the farther you see!" Both Koi and DM were angry because Tan wouldn't listen. Tan pushed the rocks with all his strength, loudly warning everyone to be careful. "Wake up early, rain is falling, hurry home and gather your clothes." A series of boulders rolled down, crushing the monsters, but they split again into new groups. This time there was no terrain protection. It looked like they were doomed. Just then, Tan suddenly jumped down from the peak and stood in front of everyone, facing the monsters. Tan's proud voice rang out, "A true warrior dares to face difficulties." Staring straight at the fresh blood, the group listened in shock as Tan said, "Fighting is the mission of a warrior." Tan's silhouette today seemed unusually tall and imposing. A fleeting thought crossed everyone's mind, eyes filled with confidence. Tan provocatively challenged the monsters. "If you're tough, come on over." The provoked monster fiercely charged forward. A tribesman behind, scared, threw away his weapon and tightly shut his eyes, not wanting to see Tan get killed. Quick as a flash, Tan grabbed the weapon flying out from the other's hand and delivered a powerful strike to the monster's head. Tan's brave action left everyone speechless and amazed. Tan's strike caused a lump to bulge on the monster's head. Holding the stick in his hand, Tan seemed to gain more courage and continued to provoke it. Seeing it lunge forward, Tan attacked again. The stick in his hand relentlessly rose and fell on the monster's head. The people behind were surprised, not knowing when Tan had become so strong. Tan only stopped when he realized there was no more intact spot left on the monster's head to hit. Seeing another monster rushing over, Tan quickly slipped away, leaving the beast to the others behind. As Tan had guessed, the newest splits were the weakest, while the earliest splits were the strongest. Realizing the monster rushing toward him was newly split, Tan was delighted and pounced to bully it. Tan's entire body suddenly vanished. At the same time, the voice of Deroy echoed in everyone's ears. "The Yan tribe Tan has passed through the first gate." The group couldn't understand how Tan managed to get past the fierce monster. Unable to find Tan, they looked at the others, fearing they would have to endure much pain. Meanwhile, at the second checkpoint, Tan was surrounded by a group of stone statues. Her eyes looked toward the distant statue of the general. Only by destroying it could Tan pass the checkpoint. Thang transformed into a lion and lunged forward. The stone statues simultaneously moved toward Tan and launched their attack, then used her claws to shatter the incoming stone but left herself open to defend. Behind her, a stone statue took the opportunity to attack her. The entrance of the second door appeared in mid-air, causing Tan to fall freely and crash into the ground. Long Khan got up. Tan felt this place was like the main gate of the tribe. Entering inside, he saw Than was ahead. Tan immediately greeted Mudaka. Than turned her face to look. On her lovely face were traces of injury. Seeing this, Tan silently thought to himself, to beat her like that, this formation is indeed not simple. Outside, a young man was making a proposal to Daroy. Until now, everyone participating in the trial had stopped at this formation. Than's strength was the strongest among those taking the trial. Should we give her a little hint? Tell her where the eye of the formation is. Daroy did not answer immediately, just murmuring about the chosen one. The two had already waited 15, not afraid to wait one more day. Whether dragon or insect, they must show their own skills to seize it. In the second stage, Than was gradually losing patience as she witnessed the stone statues continuously recovering after each of her attacks. Unable to contain her anger, Than roared, "I will destroy 10 stone statues at once. Let's see if you can still recover." She clasped her hands to form a seal, and immediately dark red vines full of demonic energy sprouted from the ground ahead. Tan stood beside her, startled, not understanding what Than intended to do. It turned out that, eager to pass the stage, Than used the secret technique Thanmon Thich Huyet Dong. Noticing the movement at the surrounding stone statues, immediately charged to attack. Than clenched her fists, shouting as she controlled the blood thorns to coil tightly around the stone statues. Under the power of Thich Huyet Dang, the statues quickly shattered. But once again Than failed. The stone statues recovered completely, silently surrounding her. Than stood still, contemplating the situation. In this grand formation, all the stone statues attacked her, except for one general statue sitting on a throne that remained motionless. Tan looked toward the surrounding stone statues. Thang felt this scene was very familiar, as if she had seen it somewhere before. Thang did not give up. She threw the surrounding stone soldiers aside. This time she decided to use the skill Dak Long Dang. Tan shouted in amazement as he saw Than standing on Dak Long Dang, rushing straight toward the stone statues, determined to break the formation. Nothing could stop Than on her way. The stone statues that collided with Dak Long Dang shattered into pieces. Tan couldn't help but exclaim, "She's really strong." After destroying all obstacles, Than transformed into a lion and dashed toward the general statue, using her claws to crush it. Daroy's voice announced that Than had successfully passed the stage. At the same time, outside, the young man believed Than was the chosen one they had been searching for. In the past 15, only she had passed this checkpoint. However, Daroy thought it was still too early to confirm Than passing the third gate. As if reading the guard's thoughts, Daroy continued, "In 15, no one has stepped into the third gate. Thang may have talent, but I'm afraid it's not enough. Observing Viemtan, this kid has caught my attention." The guard said that besides Than, only Tan had passed the first stage. Daroy suddenly remembered Viemtan, the child of the Wiem tribe. The guard suggested Daroy let Tan leave the trial because he only barely passed the first stage and was unlikely to repeat success in the following stages. Da originally thought luck was sometimes also a form of strength. Anyway, he had entered the second stage. Let him try. Tan stood silently, deep in thought. After watching Than pass the stage, Tan realized that as long as he stood in the middle without crossing the boundary, the monsters on both sides would not attack. After some testing, Tan found the way the statues charged at him very familiar. Tang murmured, "Matao niya tuong fizien?" Tan suddenly realized this grand formation was actually a giant chessboard. Outside, the guard saw Tan sitting still, thinking he was about to give up. When Da Ram asked about Than, the guard said she was resting at the third gate to recover her strength. Old Da praised that being young and not rushing was very good. After all, still a child, just wait and see. It was unclear who he was praising. After careful observation, Tan concluded that the general was definitely playing chess, and the commander of this side was the target. But immediately he realized something was wrong. Something felt off. Tan turned around and discovered there was no commander opposite him at all. So that's how it is. As Tan advanced toward the chessboard's missing general, he was attacked by the stone elephants. "Just take the risk," Tan shouted, nimbly leaping up, weaving his body as if about to fall sideways to escape their attack. Outside, the young guard sneered, thinking Tan didn't even know where the formation's eye was. "I'm afraid his luck only goes this far." No sooner had he spoken than Tan jumped to the general's position. "All right, let's start the game." Tan's confident voice rang out. Jiadung's young guard, watching Tan stand firm on the general's square, was speechless and quickly turned to inform his master that Tan had changed the chess formation. He didn't know how to explain it either, as he had never seen anyone transform a formation like that before. Knowing there was less than a moment left, Jiadung decided to wait and see the 6-chariot 4-cannon move. Tan issued orders for his chess pieces to attack the next opponent cannon, 5 moves, 3 to secure the elephant. Standing in this position, Tan could command all his own pieces. Playing chess like this is exhilarating. Too bad I can only play a single general's match. Give it to me, Tan commanded decisively, moving his piece again. Tan pointed at the enemy's general and shouted, "No more running now!" Outside, the young guard gasped in horror. He got through! How could it happen again? This guy thought Tan's passing the formation was just luck. Jiadong's voice silenced the guard. Tan's method of breaking the formation is something even I've never seen or heard of before. Do you think this is luck? Jiadong told the guard to quickly report the result. Both Than and Tan entered the final trial. At the entrance to the trial, the supervisor spotted a figure leaving and immediately informed Chief VM Koi Diem and the tribe members. As the figure appeared at the exit, the chief was already waiting with a hopeful expression, asking the tribe members who had just come out for the results. Koi and Diem hung their heads, sighing sadly. "We failed. We couldn't even get past the first gate." Chief VM comforted them. "The Sun High trial is extremely difficult. Just making it this far is already impressive." "Did anyone get through the first gate?" The chief still held on to hope. When he realized someone was still inside, a tribe member reported that Tan had passed the gate. Chief VM couldn't believe his ears, excitedly grabbing Tan's shoulders and asking again, "Really? You say Tan passed the first gate?" The chief angrily lamented, "Too bad this kid is still so young. I don't know if he can endure until the end." Diem spoke with a sharp tone filled with jealousy. "Tan just got lucky. He was fortunate to pick a weak monster. His actual strength is weak and hasn't awakened his spark. Just relying on an artifact probably isn't enough." Chief VM heard Diem's words and didn't expect Tan to create a miracle. But passing the first gate was already very good. While they were talking, the entrance to the trial slowly disappeared. At that moment, the voice of the guard accompanying Jiadong rang out, "Mudaka Than VM Tribe Tan has entered the final trial. The entrance has been sealed." Hearing this announcement, everyone from the VM tribe was shocked. No one could have expected this result. Than passed the third trial. A door appeared floating in midair. Tan fell on his rear, crying out in pain. Couldn't it be transported a little better? Looking around, the atmosphere was silent. Tan felt this third gate was truly ominous. Thang turned his head and asked Tan curiously, "How did you get through the second trial?" "That's a good question." Tan's voice sounded proud. "I broke that great formation. The most important thing is power, absolute power." Thang didn't really trust this annoying man who was trying to build the image of a mighty warrior. Tan's voice rang out, "You just fought and realized that the one in the middle is the key to breaking the formation." Tan looked smug, not blinking as he praised Than. "Your eyes are really sharp. No wonder they're the eyes of Mudaka." Tan admitted he didn't have sharp eyes like Than, so he could only rely on strength to fight. Thang nodded, listening to Tan boast about that battle. "A firework flew straight at me. Knowing I couldn't escape, I used all my strength to strike a blow. It exploded immediately after. A horseman charging with a spear came rushing in, impossible to dodge. I had no choice but to keep fighting. A true warrior. In my life dictionary, the words run away never existed." Tan spoke more and more enthusiastically, adding salt and flavor. "You could say Madaka popcorn. You don't know how dangerous I was at that time. Enemies were all around, but I was not shaken. I risked my life charging in, weaving through left and right, regardless of life or death. In the end, with just my small hands, I beat them until they fled in chaos, crying out for their mothers." The opposing commander was terrified, his face drained of all blood. He knelt down crying, begging for mercy. I showed no mercy. I decisively beheaded him, passed the stage successfully. Tan shamelessly lied without blushing, telling Than that his clothes had never been touched, from beginning to end. Thang looked at this hateful man with a suspicious gaze. Tan's confident voice rang in his ear. Thang continued to convince her that no matter the opponent, he could handle it. Rest assured. Tan was surprised to see Than's face become very serious. She pointed forward, saying the third gate was right ahead. Tan followed Than's pointing finger and looked ahead. Immediately, he was so shocked he was speechless. Before them was a giant egg. The eggshell began to crack. It seemed the monster inside was about to appear, signaling the third trial was about to begin. Thang and Tan hurriedly moved away from the crashing eggshells falling all around. If crushed by them, there would be no chance of survival. They looked toward the shadowy shape of the monster. Tan gasped in horror. "What is that?" The serpent just born opened its mouth and took a strong breath. A teleportation portal appeared right in its mouth. and groups of strange wild beasts were sucked inside. Tan realized those were the creatures he had faced in the previous 2 trials. The serpent gently closed its mouth, swallowing them all. Seeing its huge and fierce appearance, Tan muttered, "It's over. It's really over this time." The serpent fixed its gaze on the 2 tiny humans hiding below. The guard was shocked to see the appearance of the beast at the 3rd gate. He recognized it as the ancient 100 demons. Jia Dong was equally surprised that the final trial was this monster. The serpent lunged toward where Than and Tan were hiding. The 2 quickly jumped aside to dodge. Tan pointed at the serpent, forgetting all his previous boasting. He asked Than, the true warrior, if she dared face the terrifying beast. "You go first, or should I?" Than cleared her throat as Tan suddenly turned around. She suggested she go first. Than faced the serpent. Thang immediately performed the Thanvu's secret technique Bloodvine Strike. She summoned a cluster of vines, instantly wrapping tightly around the serpent. Than shouted to tighten the grip, aiming to kill it with the vines. However, contrary to expectations, the giant monster only moved slightly and broke all the vines. It roared angrily, its huge head lunging at Than. Luckily, she jumped aside in time to avoid it. Before regaining balance, the serpent's tail swung toward her. The sudden attack caused Than to fall flat on the ground. The serpent bared its sharp teeth and lunged at her. Jiadung and the guard outside were still watching. They shouted anxiously. Tan stood aside, thinking, "Is this girl really in trouble?" However, true to being the youngest Mudaka, Thane faced danger without panic. She quickly summoned a circle of blood vines, using it to block the serpent's mouth. When the serpent attacked fiercely into the blood vines, Thane quickly took the chance to roll aside and escape. She had never experienced such a dangerous situation before. Thang feels furious and decides to risk confronting the monster. She immediately summons Thanvu Tikhuiet, forming a magic formation surrounding both ends of the serpent. With a scream full of rage, the fierce magic formation crushes the monster's head to the ground. But her anger hasn't subsided. Than continues to summon Tikhuiet Dong. "Kill her!" she shouts, and the sharp vines surge straight toward the serpent's head. Both the guards outside and Tan, who is inside training, have to admit that this girl is truly incredibly strong. Thang stands still waiting for the result of the relentless attack. When the dust clears, she is shocked to realize the monster's aura still lingers. Suddenly, its huge tail lashes strongly at Than, causing her to be thrown far away. The enraged serpent stares fiercely at Than, the one who dared to challenge it. A guard of Jia Dung shouts in fear. Such strong sorcery, yet it still didn't injure it. Tan, who is observing from a distance, mutters brute force doesn't work. "We have to use a secret weapon." He immediately activates the homemade crossbow he always carries, preparing to deal with the monster. Tan carefully calculates the wind direction and trajectory. He confidently thinks that in this primal world, nothing is an arrow that can't solve. The arrow shoots forward at a dizzying speed, aiming straight for the serpent's eye, but the result disappoints Tan. The arrow doesn't cause any damage at all. If one doesn't work, then 2. Tan is more determined. He continues shooting, but all efforts are in vain. Persistence will lead to success. Tan shouts as he sees a drop of blood from the serpent. He laughs loudly. "Ha ha, that's the probability." However, Jia Dung's guard looks skeptically at the weapon in Tan's hand. "What is that can injure 100 beasts?" Jia Dung explains it's just a mundane object without void energy or power. Despite the relentless attacks, the serpent remains unfazed. It charges at Tan, causing him to panic. "Mudaka, save me." Than tries to stand, but falls again from injury. She looks at Tan being chased and mutters, 7-inch weak spot. Thang summons. Thich Huiet Dang again forming a bow in her hands. The bow aims straight at the 7-inch spot on the serpent's body, determined to hit it. Than thinks silently. Each arrow shoots at a terrifying speed, striking the monster's weak spot. Tan thinks this time the serpent will surely fall. But when he sees the monster slowly rise, he shouts, "Oh no, still, no effect." Tan sinks into thought, wondering if the monster has any weaknesses. He immediately recalls the Shanghai Jing, which records monsters. Maybe it's like the Lulu kingfish, a creature in the Shanghai Jing. Tan thinks hard, trying to recall information about the serpent Heslo Slola. Tan suddenly remembers something important in ancient legends. There was a giant serpent named Ba Sha that swallowed the sky and bit the earth, sowing disaster across the human world. At that time, a man named Hao Ye created a magical bow and arrow that struck Ba Sha's weak spot, a red scale behind its back, and then severed the monster's head. He shouts, "Mudaka, I found its weak spot." With Than's cooperation, they use Tik Huyet Dong to restrain the serpent. Than says, "For your sake, I'll trust you this once." She summons a cluster of Tik Huyet Dong rushing toward the monster. While Than distracts the serpent, Tan quickly climbs onto it. The guard beside Jia Dung looks suspicious, not understanding what Tan plans to do with the small dagger in his hand. Jia Dung silently observes. Even he cannot guess Tan's intention. Tan is tightly bound by Tik Huyet Dang as the serpent thrashes violently. Than screams, "Hurry!" Hearing this, Tan leaps up and forcefully stabs the dagger into the red scale. The serpent's painful roar echoes everywhere. Jia Dung and the guard are stunned, not expecting Tan to be able to do that. Than sees the serpent struggling. Tan is thrilled to have found its weak spot. Than is also amazed and exclaims, "This serpent can't escape Tik Huyet Dang. That kid really found its life gate." Tan continues stabbing deep into the monster's body, causing it to thrash violently, nearly throwing Tan off. Luckily, Than jumps up in time to help Tan hold the dagger firmly. With the combined effort of the two, they successfully pierced through the python's body, both quickly jumping down to escape just before its massive form collapsed to the ground. "Finally, it's over." Tan breathed a sigh of relief. Than curiously asked how he knew its weak spot. Tan replied, "Haven't you heard the legend of Ba Sha Hao Nge beheaded it after discovering the red scale?" Than was amazed Hao Nge, the ancient sorcerer god from the legend. Tan was surprised to hear Than say Hao Nge was a sorcerer god. Than explained that it's right. Sorcerer god Hao Nge used divine arrows to bring down 9 suns. Tan thought to himself, could it be that there are descendants of the sun-shooting legend here as well? Than skeptically asked how Tan knew about the sorcerer god legends, since they were only passed down in the sorcerer realm. Tan lied and said Uncle Abba told him. From the python's body, a staff flew out. Both Tan and Than shouted in unison, "Ancient magical weapon." They looked at each other and then rushed toward the staff to grab it. Suddenly, the python opened its eyes and swung its massive tail fiercely. Tan quickly noticed and held Than tightly, shouting, "Be careful!" Both were struck by the python's unexpected attack and collapsed to the ground, seriously injured and unconscious. The python staff fell beside Than. The guard and Davon arrived, but it was already too late. After checking, the guard reported to Jia Dung that the two were only slightly injured and would recover after a few days of rest. Jia Dung exclaimed in disbelief that they actually defeated Ba Sha. The guard wondered, since Ba Sha was defeated through their combined effort, who was truly chosen by heaven. Davon spoke up, saying the Sun High Trial had made the choice himself. Than is the one chosen by heaven and the inheritor of his legacy. Looking at Than unconscious with the python staff on him, Davon quickly confirmed and before leaving ordered the guards to return Tan to the tribe and awarded the VM tribe a new magical pillar. No one noticed that when the staff's handle touched Tan's finger, it suddenly flashed brightly for a moment before quickly returning to normal. 2 days later at the VM tribe, the voice of the VM chief rang out asking if the Niu tribe and Lam tribe had arrived yet. The senior elder excitedly replied, "This time we received a new magical pillar. Those others will surely be jealous and will come." The VM chief confidently said that with the new magical pillar, this winter will be more comfortable. The second elder agreed. "Last year our tribe lost many members." Just then a tribesman hurried in, face panicked, shouting loudly, "Akoi, it's bad." The magical pillar awarded by Jia Dung was stolen at the Niu tribe. Meanwhile, the Niu tribe's people gathered around the fire, excitedly discussing. They were happy because Lich, a warrior of the Niu tribe, had been named tribal warrior by the chief, promising a more comfortable life for everyone. The tall Niu chief sat on a chair and said to the young armored man beside him, "Our Niu tribe finally has a tribal warrior. From now on, the prosperity of the entire tribe depends on you." Lich immediately informed the chief that he also brought a special gift. The chief was speechless and stunned when he saw the Mangsa magical pillar in Lich's hand. In the astonished eyes of everyone, Lich tossed the stone pillar into the air. The tribesmen cheered when they saw the magical pillar suddenly appear in the tribe. They believed this was the reward the chief had given to the tribe. Lich raised his arm and shouted, "Heavenly grace of the ancestor god, our Niu tribe will surely prosper." The tribe's shouts of Hoga Hoga echoed non-stop inside the tent. The Niu chief discussed with Lich that the VM tribe was also celebrating their new magical pillar. The Niu tribe couldn't fall behind and must make it bigger. Lich slowly said a koi. I couldn't say earlier, but actually I stole this magical pillar from the VM tribe. The Niu chief worried that this would cause the VM tribe to come for revenge. Lich confidently replied, even if they want revenge, they can't. I'm currently the VM tribe's tribal warrior. They can't do anything to me. The magical pillar is only worthy of the strong. The Niu chief still feared the VM tribe would report to the tribe council. This is Deroy's reward, Lich said without fear. Let them report it. I've heard the long winter night is coming, and will be longer than last year. If the VM tribe wants revenge, they'll have to wait until winter passes. With this stolen magical pillar, how many of them will survive? Lich silently calculated and waited for winter to pass. The VM tribe's strength is weakening. Then they will have no choice but to bow and submit to the Niu tribe. After hearing this, the Niu tribal chief happily slammed the table and shouted, that's right. By annexing the VM tribe, the new tribe will have 3 pillars of power and become a true great tribe. Immediately, he ordered the tribesmen to protect the pillars of power, absolutely not allowing the VM tribe any chance to reclaim them. The atmosphere was tense in the VM tribe. When the VM tribal chief angrily roared, what exactly happened? A tribesman hurriedly recounted the incident. Lich from the Niu tribe had come and stolen the pillars of power. Instantly, the Grand Elder recognized the thief as the tribe's new warrior. The second elder spoke up. The tribe's warrior acts directly under the orders of the VM tribal chief. We can hardly touch him. The Grand Elder angrily shouted, if we can't touch him, what about his tribe? Are we not supposed to touch them either? Despite his age, the Grand Elder still had his strength. He proactively suggested sending troops to reclaim the pillars of power. However, the second elder advised that the VM tribe's strength was inferior to the Niu tribe. Launching an attack would only bring us losses. The Grand Elder grew even angrier, scolding the second elder. If you keep calculating and wait for the Niu tribe to be fully prepared, we'll only be marching to our deaths. The VM tribal chief, seeing the two constantly arguing, angrily shouted, stop arguing! At that moment, Koi, standing behind the chief, suddenly spoke up with a proposal. They would duel the Niu tribe, staking the pillars of power as the wager. Diem opposed. How could you rely on him to fight back a lich? He suggested reporting the matter to the great tribe, believing that Mudaka would assist the VM tribe. The second elder agreed with this idea. He believed Mudaka would definitely intervene. The Grand Elder then spoke up. Winter is coming. If we wait until after winter to report, the VM tribe will have suffered heavy losses. The VM tribal chief turned to ask for Aaron's opinion. After thinking, Aaron suggested consulting Tan, since the pillars of power were obtained by Tan, risking his life during the trials. Diem objected, saying Tan was just lucky and the trial was not successful. Besides, the pillars of power were a reward for the efforts of all VM tribe warriors. In the end, he agreed that without everyone's support, Tan couldn't have passed the first stage. The second elder also felt Tan was too young and not qualified to participate in important tribe discussions. The VM tribal chief was exhausted by the prolonged dispute, while the Grand Elder was still eager to start a war. Finally, the VM tribal chief decided to call Tan over. When Tan appeared, the Grand Elder couldn't hold back and shouted, "Why are you hesitating? The tribe's glory can only be won through blood and battle." Tan calmly opposed, "You're elders, yet you keep shouting fight and kill. It's really not right." He proposed to resolve the issue peacefully. The Grand Elder grew even angrier, shouting, "Peace! The enemy is already at our door. What peace?" The second elder advised the Grand Elder to calm down and let Tan speak. Tan confidently declared, "Give me 5 days and I'll make the Niu tribe voluntarily return the pillars of power." The Grand Elder was furious and wanted to strike Tan, but was stopped by the second elder. Tan said, "The secret cannot be revealed yet. Everyone will know in time." She angrily shouted at Tan, "What kind of fake mystic act is that? How could the Niu tribe return the stolen items voluntarily?" Tan replied, "Just because you can't do it doesn't mean I can't." The Grand Elder couldn't tolerate it and kicked Tan out. Hearing the order to leave, Tan felt extremely excited because he was naturally very lazy. The second elder suddenly called Tan to stop. He told the Grand Elder that Tan always came up with strange ideas. Maybe this time he really has a solution. Seeing his grandfather defend Tan, Diem angrily shouted, "Grandpa don't believe this brat. He only knows how to do useless things. Letting Tan act freely will only harm the VM tribe." The second elder angrily turned to tell his grandson to shut up. Diem stubbornly ignored him and continued to criticize Tan, saying he hadn't even awakened the fire starter and wasn't worthy to stand here. As soon as he finished speaking, the second elder swung his hand and slapped his grandson's face. Ignoring his nephew, clutching his face in pain, the second elder turned to Tan and spoke gently. The Dodang pillar may have been a household gift to the Yan clan, but the greatest credit belongs to Tan. Turning to his grandson, he immediately changed his tone and shouted, "Without Tan, there would be no Dodang pillar. Have you memorized it well?" The clan chief asked Tan skeptically if he was certain about his prediction. After receiving Tan's confident answer, the clan chief seemed somewhat relieved. He gave Tan 5 days comfortably and promised to support any necessary needs. Hearing this, Tan immediately smiled, pinched his nose, and said he wanted to eat roasted duck leg tonight. It had to be a large one, the kind where duck feathers get stuck in your teeth. Seeing Tan casually turn and leave, the second elder softly said to Clan Chief Yan, "Akoi, we've entrusted Tan to handle this, so trust him." Hearing this, Chief Yan ordered everyone to fully support Tan and fulfill all his requests. The two elders, though displeased, had to obey the clan chief's orders. They didn't believe Tan could do it. On the second day, seeing Tan spend the whole day just eating, everyone in the Yan clan began whispering and wondering how he would explain this later. The third and fourth days passed without any change. Tan still comfortably sat eating all day, ignoring all the gossip, sarcasm, and insults from the clan members. Among those watching Tan were two young men, Koi and Diem. Diem sneered at Tan and quietly said, "Eat as much as you can while you still can. After tomorrow, I doubt you'll get another chance. By then, no one will pity you. Just wait and see you get stripped bare." Koi also angrily spoke up about Tan spending days just eating, and the second elder heard this. The second elder's voice rang out as if to defend Tan. "I know people have been dissatisfied these past few days, but we agreed to entrust Tan, so trust him." He approached behind Tan and softly said, "Tan, don't blame everyone. They're just worried about the Dodang pillar, all for the good of the clan." Tan turned around and assured the second elder, "Don't worry, I'm a man of my word." The second elder felt reassured. He ordered everyone to return to their tents and rest well. The clan members whispered as they left, thinking the second elder was too kind and Tan didn't deserve his protection. Ignoring the spreading gossip, Tan continued eagerly tending to his stomach, picking up food and chewing non-stop. Early on the 5th morning, a crowd gathered noisily outside Tan's residence. By now, they still hadn't seen any sign of the Dodang pillar. Despite the shouting outside, Tan remained calm inside, looking at himself in a basin of water. He took out the fishbone from last night's dinner and used it to comb his messy hair. After feeling handsome enough, Tan stepped outside and waved to everyone. "Everyone looks in pretty good spirits today." Koi and the Grand Elder wanted nothing more than to rush in and confront Tan. The Grand Elder angrily shouted, "You promised that within 5 days the Engyu clan would return the Dodang pillar. Now the deadline's here." He turned to scold the second elder, saying he was too old and easily believed Tan's nonsense. "After all this, what do you have to say?" The Grand Elder lamented missing the chance to strike while the iron was hot and scolded Tan. "Kid, if you can't do it, don't make big promises. Now the Dodang pillar hasn't returned, and the chance to launch a surprise attack on the Engyu clan is lost." His voice full of fury, "The Yan clan would rather die in battle than suffer humiliation." He ordered everyone to take up arms and fight to the death against the Engyu clan. At the tensest moment, a clan guard rushed in, panting and stammering, "They're here! The Engyu clan is here!" The Grand Elder was shocked by the news. He grabbed his weapon and ordered the whole clan to prepare for battle. They gathered at the clan gate. 5 Yan clan members moved out to block the Engyu clan at the gate. The Yan clan chief roared, spitting in the opponent's face, "Engyu, you still dare come here!" The Engyu clan ignored him and sent people to bring the Dodang pillar serpent. The Yan clan members were all dumbfounded, unsure of what trick the Engyu clan was trying to play. The Engyu voice rang out, "This is the Dodang pillar that was given to you as a household gift. The Engyu clan now returns it." The Yan clan suddenly remembered what Tan had said before. Could it be that Tan really did it? They couldn't believe this truth. The great elder standing in front racked his brains, but still couldn't understand how that kid managed it. The item was returned. As if wanting to leave, Chief VM told Aaron, "Now put the Dodang pillar back in its place." At that moment, Tan stepped forward and loudly declared, "We will not accept this Dodang pillar." Aaron leaned close to Tan's ear and whispered, What nonsense are you talking about? Quickly take it back. Don't let the NU tribe go back on their word. Tan shouted loudly, no, the Dodang pillar was stolen from us. Just returning it now solves the problem. It's not that simple. The NU, angered by being lectured by a mere kid, roared, What now, kid? What do you want? Tan fearlessly responded, You must bring a formal apology to the VM tribe and compensate us for the damages. The NU asked, How do you want the compensation? Tan immediately demanded 10 miles of the Dongsun Sumlum hunting grounds as compensation. Hearing this, the NU's face darkened. We won't give up even an inch of the hunting grounds. Angry, the NU pointed at Tan and growled, Listen well today, you accept this Dodang pillar, whether you want to or not. Tan sneered, NU argue blindly. This world only respects the strong. The Ingu tribe stole our Dodang pillar. That's right. It's because your tribe is too weak and got bullied. After insulting the VM tribe, the Ingu felt satisfied and was about to leave. Tan mysteriously said, Go ahead, do you think you can leave? The NU turned back with a sarcastic tone. Do you really want to declare war on our Ngu tribe? Tan's face turned serious as he threatened, You secretly stole from us, and now that you're done playing, you want to throw it back. You don't respect the VM tribe. Tan tribe's warrior will not let outsiders humiliate us so easily. Hearing this, Aaron immediately reported to Chief Veem, emphasizing that Tan's words were very reasonable. The Ngu were confused, not knowing how to deal with that fierce kid. Tan's strong voice rang in the ears of the VM tribe. With the ancestors as witnesses, tribe members, answer me quickly. Will we endure humiliation or become glorious warriors? Tan's words carried a hypnotic power that ignited a fiery spirit within the VM tribe. They shouted in unison, Tan tribe only has warriors, no cowards. Not stopping there, Tan continued to encourage the Ngu tribe has trampled on our honor and glory. Will we accept this? For the honor of our tribe, for our glory, we are not afraid to fight. Those calls were like a flame that ignited passion in the heart of every Veem tribe member. Seeing the Veem tribe fired up like fighting cocks, the Ngu lowered his voice to threaten, Kid, you better think carefully if your Veem tribe can stand against our Ngu tribe. Tan was unfazed and immediately replied, Yeah, then you should also think carefully about how many fighters your tribe still has. Tan's words hit Ngu like a hammer straight to the mind, making his face turn pale. Stammering, he asked, How does Tan know about this? 2 days earlier, back at the Ngu tribe, Ngu and his people were holding a grand celebration. He was delighted thinking about how the VM tribe would react when they discovered the Dodang pillar was stolen. The Ngu people believed that even if discovered, the VM tribe wouldn't dare to fight back. They were just cowards. How could they be as fierce as the Ngu tribe? The Ngu chief's eyes gleamed with savage ambition as he declared, When winter passes, we will conquer the VM tribe. Suddenly, one of the tribe members eating cried out in pain and collapsed. This phenomenon triggered a chain reaction, causing more tribe members to fall one after another. In front of Nguhe panicked and rushed outside calling for help. The scene was a mass of tribe members lying motionless on the ground. He shouted, What on earth is happening? What's wrong with my tribe members? All events in the Ngu tribe were observed by a person in a black cloak, silently watching from afar. The time has come. Surprisingly, that mysterious person was Tan cloaked to conceal his identity, holding a staff, as he calmly entered the Ngu tribe. Just as predicted, Tan's fake curse echoed. You are the gatekeeper. Someone lying motionless on the ground stammered. Suddenly he shouted, Master! Somehow Tan was able to emit an aura just like a Jiarong, causing the gatekeeper to mistake Tan's authoritative voice ringing in his ear. The gatekeeper warned that they had fallen under the curse of punishment from Doroi. The gatekeeper was confused because the Niu tribe would never dare to provoke any Jia wrong, so why were they being punished? Tan opened the gourd he was carrying and said, I don't know what you've done, but this is definitely a kind of punishment. He took out a jet black pill and told the gatekeeper to swallow it. Looking at the round, terribly smelly thing in his hand, the gatekeeper felt uneasy under Tan's overwhelming gaze but swallowed it without daring to disobey. Immediately, they felt noticeably stronger. Both of them immediately knelt down, begging Tan to help their tribe break the curse. Realizing they'd bitten the bait, Tan continued to intimidate. This only temporarily soothes the symptoms. The curse is not yet lifted. The two Niu tribe members anxiously wanted to know the origin. In a mysterious tone, Tan reminded them to recall if anyone in the tribe had recently brought back anything related to Jia Rong. The two suddenly remembered and immediately pointed toward the interior of the tribe. Tan quickly turned and left. His voice echoed in the wind and was carefully remembered by the two Niu tribe members. Within 3 days, the punishment curse will be forever sealed on this land. You'd better handle it well. Returning to the present, perhaps those who watched the video now understand why Tan dared to claim that 5 days later the pillar would spin back to Niu. His face pale, thinking silently that this kid might actually know what's going on. Niu felt fear before the kid standing in front of him. From the start, this kid had always held the initiative. Niu's threatening voice rang out. Yen, do you intend to let this kid represent your tribe? As both senior second elders advised Yen not to let Tan cause trouble. The Niu tribe was powerful. The Yen tribe couldn't compare. It would be best to negotiate with them, so Tan should step back. Aaron heard their retreat talk and called to the hunting warriors. Even the kid dares to stand up first. How can we back down? Aaron's voice was full of anger. Except for the second elder, everyone else shouted, Hooga! In unison. Hooga, the Yen tribe warriors had never feared battle. Seeing the high-ranking leaders of the Yen tribe unshaken, Niu then used a blunt tone. So what do you want? The pillar was originally a gift from Akoi to us. With a strong tone and healthy voice, Tan said, Don't talk about your tribe. Even Mudaka, we are not afraid. Tan returned Niu's words to him. Didn't you say the weak get bullied? And Tan pointed directly at Niu's face confidently. Today I'll bully you, declare war. If no compensation is made, we declare war immediately. The Niu tribe members behind wanted to rush forward to deal with Tan, but were stopped by Niu. Although very angry, Niu silently calculated in his mind. If it weren't for the Niu warriors weakened by the curse, why would he let this arrogant kid have the upper hand until now? Niu noticed Yen Tan's hesitant gaze, repeatedly urging him to think carefully. Niu forced a smile. Pay the price to Tan Dong San invading the Niu forest tribe, cut 5 miles as compensation for you. Tan twirled his ear, his tone low. 5 miles? You go eat crap. Are your ears lost or your brain broken? Arms akimbo like women quarreling at the market. Tan shouted loudly. Listen carefully, I said 10 miles of the hunting area, not a fraction less. Continuously humiliated by the kid, Niu was about to explode when a nearby guard stopped him. Akoi's voice transmitted, Just return the pillar to them, and in 3 days the entire Yen tribe will be cursed. Then they will be fish meat, and we will be the knife and cutting board. Everything will be decided by our Niu tribe. Feeling the guard's words made sense, Niu shouted, Fine, 10 miles it is, I agree. Angrily, Niu turned to leave that hateful place. Suddenly, a huge black cloud appeared in the sky, rushing over and attracting everyone's attention. The thing in the air made everyone gape in amazement. What is that? Tan screamed in horror. In the distance, a giant eagle screeched in panic, fleeing from something terrifying and invisible. Soon, the black mist covered the eagle's entire body, and from within it emerged an extremely evil breath. At this moment in the Yan tribe, Aaron exclaimed in fear upon noticing the black mist moving. I didn't expect this year's long winter night to come so early. Chin continued to watch intently, muttering in his mind, Winter? What kind of winter can block out the sun? This really makes no sense. Standing behind Chin shouted out, Yan, we've already cut the land, the hunting stakes. Do you finally accept them? The second elder spoke. There are 2 hunting stakes and a 10-mile hunting area. This winter, the Yan tribe can rest assured. The chief elder also advised Yan, that's good enough. Dogs and roosters shouldn't provoke the ox tribe any further. Hearing this, Yan immediately ordered Aaron to bring the hunting stakes back to the tribe. As the ox tribe people left, Chin stood silently, his gaze following them. No one could guess what he was thinking or whether some scheme was being hatched. Meanwhile, Aaron was busy directing everyone to carry the hunting stakes back. Chin approached, and Aaron turned to look at him with admiration for what Chin had done. It's just a small matter, Chin said, then asked Aaron about the strange sky. Aaron's voice was somber with a hint of fear. This year the long winter night is arriving earlier than usual. This is not a happy time. The phrase long night made Chin curious. Aaron continued with sorrow. Last year's long winter night, the Yan tribe lost 37 people. Seeing Chin's surprise at that number, Aaron added a devastating fact. The Yan tribe has just over 200 people. Chin scratched his head in confusion. Aaron comforted him, saying that this year they have the hunting stakes. Chin 1 added to the hunting area. Surely the Yan tribe will get through the winter safely. Sensing the life-or-death danger approaching, the Yan tribe leader gathered the tribe members and declared the formation of a hunting team. They will head toward Dong Mountain to expand the hunting grounds, preparing to face the harsh winter. Yet Aaron was appointed team captain. The awakened young men, the tribe's future, were required to join. Keen, however, was not very interested. He just wanted to stay home to cure salted fish and let others go hunting. Hearing the Yan tribe leader say he was a special case allowed to join the hunting team, Chin swallowed nervously, unhappy. Seeing two people strongly oppose his joining, Chin sided with them, because he really did not want to go. But Yan kept his decision, wanting Chin to join to train himself. Chin felt like he had bitten into bitter medicine. He just wanted to stay still, take care of himself, be a handsome man. He almost broke down when he saw everyone agree he had to join. Chin quietly begged, but no one paid attention. Finally, he spoke up. I have an opinion, Elder. I feel my ability is not enough, not suitable for this. Aaron quickly stopped Chin, reminding him that though young Chin was already a brave warrior who stood before the Ox tribe to protect Yan's interests. Aaron's heroic tone, "Don't worry, even if you die on the mountain, you will become a glorious warrior of the Yan tribe." Chin frowned, thinking he didn't need that kind of glory. The Yan tribe leader angrily knocked Aaron's head, warning that this was just an experience for Chin, and Aaron must ensure his safety. The chief elder wanted to object, but was stopped by the second elder. The second elder's eyes sparkled as he said Chin had potential and should be given a chance. Aaron was happy when both elders agreed. The chief elder ordered everyone to prepare for departure tomorrow. After everyone left, the second elder quietly came up and gently patted the chief elder's shoulder. The chief elder snapped irritably. "What do you want? Are you favoring that brat Chin?" The second elder whispered, "Don't you see the elder wants to nurture Chin? Maybe he wants Chin to become the next elder." The chief elder angrily walked away. The second elder sighed and said aloud, "Compared to our two kids, Chin is still far behind." Lich quietly approached the Yan tribe but did not reveal himself, instead observing from afar. He memorized every action of Chin, determined to retaliate fittingly for what Chin had done to the Ox tribe. Lich patiently waited 3 more days when Daroy's curse enveloped the Yan tribe. At that time, he wanted to see how the weaklings of the Yan tribe would try to seize the 10-mile Dong Mountain hunting ground from the Ox tribe. The next morning, when everyone was gathering outside the gate, a round sack suddenly appeared from afar. Not yet is Tan planning to bring the whole family to the hunting ground. Aaron wondered what Tan was carrying with him. Tan smiled slyly, saying he only brought some tools for testing. Koi and DM didn't miss the chance to mock Tan, saying hunting requires strength and courage, not just sitting and waiting like fishing. Koi sneered, "Let's watch carefully and learn then." Both laughed heartily. Koi even gave Tan a thumbs up teasingly, "You're sure to become a great hunter." Aaron, worried that Tan was discouraged, came over to encourage him. When they arrived at the hunting ground, everyone shouted loudly to start. Then in front of them was a huge and fierce wild buffalo. Seeing the prey, the group charged all at once. Tan stood with his mouth agape, watching the hunters rush at the buffalo. However, the first attack failed. The buffalo struggled, knocking everyone down. Its fierce gaze scared everyone, causing them to fall. Aaron shouted, "Hold the buffalo's back legs tight, try to knock it down." Tan watched closely, mumbling, "Were primitive people really that brutal when hunting?" Aaron was kicked away by the buffalo. The hunters regained their spirit and charged again. One person was injured by the buffalo's horns. Tan wanted to rush to help, but the man jumped up, yelling, "I'm not done yet!" He tore a piece from his pants to bandage the wound, then shouted, "Still fighting strong. Hooga." Tan was surprised. "You can bandage like that and still be okay." Koi jumped up with his weapon, shouting, "I'm coming!" He threw his weapon hard at the buffalo. "Koi, where is he aiming?" The spear flew in a beautiful arc, stabbing straight into the buffalo's rear. "It hurts." Someone yelled, "We found its weak spot." Everyone charged together. All their weapons targeted the buffalo's rear, brutally finishing it off. Tan stood observing, mumbling, "This hunting method is too savage, really hard to learn." Aaron coughed and asked Tan how he felt. Tan asked about his wounds. Aaron patted Tan's shoulder and said, "It's okay, hunting requires courage. You'll get used to it after a few injuries." Suddenly, Tan's eyes widened as he looked toward a distant lake. By the lake was a giant wild beast, even bigger than the buffalo they had just taken down. Aaron was stunned when he saw Tan had disappeared. Tan carried his gear and ran toward the lake, telling Aaron he had just seen a bigger prey. He wanted to try hunting alone and would come back later. Bigger. Aaron doubted. Koi and DM mocked, thinking Tan was lucky to catch even a rabbit. The first day of hunting ended joyfully as the Veem tribe gained good results thanks to the new Dongsun hunting ground. Finally, the whole tribe had enough meat to eat. Aaron excitedly asked everyone to gather the spoils to prepare for distribution. Koi turned to Tan with a sarcastic look, asking, "Where's your bounty?" DM stood behind Trum, teasing that Tan hadn't caught anything. They feared he would return empty-handed. Tan calmly kept eating fruit. DM and Koi angrily shouted at Tan, questioning him. He quickly took a few big bites, then threw his hand back and declared it as his bounty for the day. Everyone gasped when they saw Tan toss a half-eaten wild fruit onto the table without shame. Tan grinned mischievously. Aaron picked up the wild fruit and handed it back to Tan, telling him to keep it, then ordered the division of spoils to begin. Each hunter received a large portion of meat, including Tan, who held a chunk in his hands. Tan looked at an elderly tribesman and said, "Joining the hunting team is a good thing, everyone should try it." Turning his back and leaving, Tan exclaimed, "Primitive life is wonderful." The elderly tribesman only received scraps of bone and sighed in complaint. The hunting team wasn't open to just anyone. Seeing Tan receive meat without contributing, the hard-working hunters felt it was unfair. The elderly also complained that Tan only brought back a wild fruit, yet got a share. They eventually reported this to Aaron, but were cut off by him. Aaron explained that this was the hunting team's rule. If Tan participated, he had to be given a share like everyone else. DM pointed loudly at an injured hunter. "Even though we're hurt, we keep fighting, and Tan hasn't even finished talking." DM was stopped by his grandfather, who reminded him that this was only the first day, and even DM himself only caught a small mouse on his first hunt. DM stubbornly argued, "Still better than Tan, he only brought back one half-eaten wild fruit." The second elder shouted, "Shut your mouth, all our hunting at Dongsun is thanks to Tan's efforts. If you say that again, I won't forgive you." DM sighed and lowered his head obediently. The second elder pretended to defend Tan, saying he was still young and needed encouragement, and everyone should trust him. Aaron also believed that Tan would perform better tomorrow. On the second day at the Dongsun hunting ground, Tan busily tied a rope to a tree, whistling while digging a large hole. Then he carefully camouflaged the hole's opening, stood up to inspect and measure, murmuring, "The tree and pit trap are done, the underwater trap too." Tan calculated carefully, looking at the numbers, and solved equations, then smiled and shouted, "No more flaws!" Holding 2 wild fruits in his hands, he grinned mischievously. Aaron pointed at the wild fruit and loudly asked, "Is this your trophy for today?" Tan nodded in confirmation, bit one fruit, then threw the other on the table, teasingly. "Go ahead and take it, don't be shy." Aaron seemed impatient this time, loudly. "Tan, don't you think about catching some wild game?" Tan grinned, showing his teeth. "Just needs time." Then added, "Besides, eating meat every day can give you high cholesterol." Koi and DM looked confused, not understanding what cholesterol was. Seeing everyone's angry looks, Tan held up a big piece of meat and the wild fruit, saying loudly, "My lovely wild fruit got a share again." The third day seemed like a successful hunting day when they discovered a herd of antelopes drinking by the riverbank and immediately rushed to surround them. Meanwhile, Tan was still diligently busy alone reinforcing his traps. At night, when returning to the collection point, the supervisor saw Tan shaking his head. When asked about the prey this time, Tan was too tired to even bother picking the wild fruits to bring back. Looking starving, Tan accepted the shared piece of meat and said he would catch prey in just 2 more days. The person distributing the meat thought Tan was lazy and all talk, so he was very angry, and the others' attitudes were bad too. No one believed Tan was telling the truth, even wanting to suggest to the tribe chief to remove Tan from the hunting team. Ignoring those words, Tan sat and ate happily because he had spent a lot of energy and spirit the past few days and needed nutrition. An angry person punched and shattered the rock in front of him. It turned out Lich of the Yingyu tribe was silently watching the Veem tribe from outside. He angrily shouted, "Yes, I can do better. The wild fruit I picked blindly is definitely bigger than his." Swordlick was puzzled. He and the strong men of the Yingyu tribe were ready, but 3 days passed and the Veem tribe was unharmed. Looking toward the Veem tribe, Lich was furious and decided not to let it go. He wanted the Veem tribe to know fear that the tribal warriors were not just empty titles. On the afternoon of the 4th hunting day, Tan trudged back to the Veem tribe, exhausted, muttering, Busy all day. I'm dead tired. I wonder how everyone else did. Looking ahead, Tan was startled and exclaimed, "Huh? What's going on here?" In front of him was the entire hunting team of 8, all wounded and wrapped in bandages. Tung Lum Koi sneered, "The busy guy is back, probably picked up a few wild fruits again." Koi angrily questioned Tan, "When we were ambushed by the Ngyu tribe, where were you hiding?" Tan blankly asked, "When did the Ngu tribe—" A hand patted Tan's shoulder. A weak voice said, "It's okay, Tan." Aaron, heavily bandaged on the head, gently said, "This isn't your responsibility. Just blame me as the team leader for not noticing the Ngu tribe's ambush." Pointing to a deer, Aaron said, "This is today's prey. The rest was stolen by the Ngu tribe." Hungry and only getting a small piece of meat, Tan angrily shouted, "Those damn Ngu tribe thieves dared to rob right under my nose." Aaron warned Tan to be careful next time when hunting at Dung Sun, because the Ngu tribe was still there. Seeing Uncle Aaron injured, Tan silently vowed, "Just wait." At the Thanman Great Tribe. Than was in a coma after the Son Hai trial and was brought back by Jia Dung to the Great Tribe only now just waking up. After a long coma, Than was still not fully alert. Her memory was of being hit by the tail of a giant snake. Suddenly waking up, Than hurriedly asked her maid, "How long have I been lying here? What were the results of the Son Hai trial?" The 3 elder maids quickly replied, "The Son Hai trial ended 5 days ago." Then's voice panicked, "What 5 days? I've been unconscious for 5 days." As a result of the Mountain Sea trial, the maidservants in the room immediately congratulated, "Congratulations to Lord Mudaka Jiadung for agreeing to come to the tribe to teach you the ancient witchcraft secrets." Thang listened to everyone's congratulations with suspicion, thinking to herself, "Did I win?" As suddenly the image of that hateful kid appeared in Than's mind. Than got out of bed and told the maidservant to prepare to depart. She wanted to go to the Flame Tribe. Hearing the maidservant's question, Than said, "I am organizing the Jiadung trial for someone there but have yet to hand over the Jiadung token." The maidservant reminded Than that since she just woke up, she would have to learn witchcraft with Lord Jiadung. "No problem," Than said softly. "Leave everything at the Flame Tribe to her and the maidservants." Then whispered to herself, "No problem, huh?" At the East Mountain hunting ground, Tan tested triggering the wooden trap, but realized its power was still insufficient. His eyes rested on the stone trap hanging from a tree branch, and a satisfied smile spread across his lips. "This one can bear good force." Tan thought to himself, then stopped before the deep pit trap he'd made, considering whether to increase the slope. Rubbing his nose, Tan laughed confidently, thinking, "Heh, finally finished all around north, south, east, west, from land to water." Tan had set traps covering the area. Everything was perfect. After several hard days, the entire 10-mile East Mountain hunting ground was now Tan's territory. Without his guidance, anyone lost here would face great danger. Tan's eyes flashed with killing intent as he muttered, "From today, 1 kill 2 if possible, or even both." Just as he was pleased, the ground suddenly shook, causing Tan to fall flat on his face. Curious, he oriented himself and headed toward the source of the tremor. Pushing aside the grass, Tan saw 2 three-eyed giant wolves fiercely growling, confronting a panda. He didn't expect that after time-traveling back to the primitive era, he would have the chance to meet the ferocious national treasure, the three-eyed wolf. It raised its sharp, clawed paw to strike at the panda. The panda gently blocked the attack with its meaty paw, touching the 2 beasts, causing the earth and sky to tremble. Tan concealed himself in the grass, watching the battle. Before the three-eyed wolf could recover from the first strike, the panda grabbed its leg, causing it to panic and struggle. The panda sneered disdainfully, squeezing the wolf's leg tightly, then lifted it like a weapon and threw it at the other wolf. Tan gaped in amazement, thinking, "Where did this panda come from that's so strong?" Before him stood the majestic panda. 2 wolves lay collapsed on the ground, bloodied and battered. Is this the real-life version of the panda archer? Tan broke into a sweat-muttering panda. Suddenly, the panda turned its sharp gaze toward Tan's hiding spot. It let out a booming roar. Tan immediately raised both hands over his head to appear harmless and stood up to explain, "Hello, Mr. Panda, I'm just a passerby. No intention to bother you." The panda squinted, assessing Tan with disdain upon seeing he was just a skinny weakling. Seeing the panda turn and walk away, Tan felt humiliated. The panda carried off its 2 trophies and left. Tan suddenly shouted, "Ah, wait!" But it was too late. He ran into the pit trap, which just collapsed. Then Tan muttered, "I just designed this spot this morning." Standing at the edge of the pit, Tan looked down at the plump panda and wondered if it might be pregnant. The fall didn't hurt it at all. The panda tried to climb out but failed and fell back to the bottom. Tan smiled slightly, thinking climbing out wouldn't be easy. This pit is an inclined plane. He thought to himself, heh heh, ever since Thanya Dao jumped out of a pit, I've been studying and redesigning this trap. The panda couldn't climb up and acted cute, blinking at Tan. He hesitated, wondering whether to release it since it was a national treasure after all. Suddenly, the clever panda signaled to offer one wolf as payment if Tan saved it. Tan greedily wanted both, but the panda shook its head, refusing like an expert bargainer. The panda signaled 6 parts. Tan laughed. 6 parts. You know how to bargain, huh? Don't worry, I won't take it all. He gestured to the panda to wait a moment, then threw down a piece of bamboo shoot to exchange for the remaining meat. The panda looked confused, holding the bamboo shoot, unsure what to do with it. Tan chewed loudly on the bamboo shoot and asked, "What's wrong?" "Never eaten this before." The panda imitated a bite and then happily chewed it. Seeing the panda give a thumbs up, Tan agreed to the deal. Tan thought, could this be the first panda in history to eat bamboo shoots? Transaction successful. Tan lowered the net for the panda to climb up. Just as it climbed out of the hole, the panda hesitated, but became gentle when it saw the pile of bamboo shoots Tan had prepared. Tan led it back to the bamboo forest where there were plenty of shoots. The greedy panda snapped off whole bamboo stalks, chewing loudly. Finding it hard to eat, it aggressively grabbed Tan's collar, making him shout anxiously. He couldn't eat hot tofu and bamboo shoots growing close to the ground like I could. Tan rolled up his sleeves and showed the panda how to dig for bamboo shoots. After teaching, Tan waved goodbye, looking at the 2 wolves beside him, excitedly laughing. This is what we call mutual benefit. Come again next time. Tan thought these 2 wolves might make up for the meat he had eaten over the past few days. The 2 large wolves had to go find Uncle Aaron to report the news. Suddenly, Tan heard a noise from afar, becoming alert and looking around. In the hunting area, Lich led the Engyu tribe group with a delighted expression, shouting loudly at the Veem tribe, who looked truly miserable and laughable at that moment. Tan, hiding in a tree, heard every word Lich said clearly. Of course, with me here, the Veem tribe can't resist a single blow. The Engyu tribespeople behind kept praising and flattering Lich. They believed he alone could face half of the Veem tribe's hunting squad. With Lich here, let's see how those Veem tribe members dare to compete for Dongsun with us. Lich's voice rang out, telling everyone to pay attention as they were moving deep into the Dongsun area. Tan from the tree used a self-made listening device to closely monitor every movement of the Engyu tribe group. He drew a battle map on the ground, muttering, "You have come to your death. I will kindly help you rest in peace today. Witness the power of the secret project I have painstakingly prepared." Lich was the first to fall into a trap hanging upside down high above. Lich shouted loudly, warning everyone about the traps, then hurriedly reassured them not to panic. It was definitely set by the Veem tribe. He suggested everyone take the initiative to attack, believing the Veem tribe used traps for ambush, so their numbers were limited. Lich ordered to split into groups to find who was behind these traps. The Engyu tribesperson hanging high cried out desperately, but no one paid attention. The second person fell into a trap. Perhaps his tea set was also shattered. This time, a single net caught 3 people at once. 2 Engyu tribe members in this group were moving when they heard cries for help from other groups. A young man panicked, saying it seemed like they were in trouble. A teammate nearby comforted him. "Don't be afraid. If we're careful and inspect thoroughly, nothing will happen." Before he finished speaking, both fell straight into a water pit Tan had dug earlier. Looking at the battle map, Tan saw 6 points had fallen into traps, with only Lich remaining. Tan suddenly remembered he was the one who had stolen the Veem tribe's rear post last time. Immediately, Tan decided to treat Lich specially, letting him test the invincible divine pit he had just researched. Lich was struggling with the traps Tan had set. Just after escaping the wooden trap, he was crushed by heavy stones. He used force to fling the stones away, looking at the scattered traps around him. Lich didn't know who designed them so deviously. Seeing a broken branch underfoot, Lich angrily stomped. "Just these toys and you want to trouble me? No way." Damn it, didn't expect these to be Tan's traps too. A stream of golden yellow liquid poured down on Lich's head honey. Lich yelled furiously, "Who did this? Come out now." Tan laughed mockingly from the tree. "Oh, the sweetness of honey. Is it even sweeter than love?" "It's you," Lich glared at Tan. Tan frowned and pointed at Lich. Dongsun is the territory of the Veem tribe. Do you know the concept of inviolable territorial sovereignty? Lich sneered territory gained by trickery. Sooner or later, the Engu tribe will take it back. Tan shook his head, leaning against a branch. I took it with skill. Why would I give it back? First of all, Lich wasn't good at arguing. He was used to using force. He planned to rush forward and fight Tan to teach that arrogant kid who was the real master of Dongsun. Seeing Lich charge, Tan raised his hand, signaling to weight his voice like an ad. This kind of honey is very good for the skin, moistens the voice, and relieves constipation. Lich didn't understand what Tan was saying. Tan sneered and said mysteriously, I mean, if you don't like eating it, someone else might like it a lot. Just after finishing, Lich suddenly spotted a shadow behind him. A Thiet Chow bear was staring intently at the honey on him. Tan delightedly ate wild fruit while enjoying the scene of humans and beasts confronting each other. In another corner of the forest, where the hunters of the Viam tribe gathered, the atmosphere suddenly grew tense. A hunter, red-faced with anger, shouted, Those new tribe scoundrels are really hateful. They dared to steal our prey. The roar of a beast echoed, making the group of hunters rejoice. They hadn't hunted much these past few days, and now it seemed the beast was surrendering itself. Aaron, the group leader, suddenly realized the roar came from the place Tan had frequented recently. Fearing Tan was in danger, he shouted urgently, Everyone move quickly! We must save Tan immediately. When they arrived, Tan was sitting perched on a tree, shouting loudly. What an amazing sight! Hit him. Give him a strong slap. Tan was cheering on the big bear Thiet Chow Hung fighting with Lich. The bear, thinking Lich had stolen its food, got angry and slapped Lich hard with its huge paw. Although Lich blocked the hit, the force was too strong and sent him flying backward. Lich's face bruised, he yelled, Damn it! In rage, Lich activated Du Dong Chiluk, transforming into a giant with stone armor to confront Thiet Chow Hung. With terrifying strength, Lich aimed at the bear, throwing a large rock at it. After venting his anger, Lich became exhausted and returned to his original form. Tan, looking down from the tree, thought silently, His Du Dong Chiluk really is impressive. Meanwhile, Thiet Chow Hung struggled to crawl out from the rubble, his fierce eyes staring at Lich. Tan grabbed the rope in his hand and shouted, Okay, the show is over. Both of them stood still. Next comes Tan's punishment for the fighters. Tan tugged sharply on the rope, activating the deep pit trap he had prepared. Lich and Thiet Chow Hung, caught off guard, fell together into the pit. Aaron and the hunters just arrived, shouting, Tan, are you okay? Everyone looked around in surprise to see Lich and the bear lying unconscious in the pit. They laughed loudly, and their laughter echoing through the forest. Suddenly, a Viam tribe member accidentally triggered the net trap under Aaron's feet, and everyone panicked. Tan quickly shouted, Don't move so I can rescue you. But before Tan could act, Aaron was also caught in the trap. Tan, with an innocent face, joked, You don't know anything at all. Lich gradually woke up, looking around in confusion. When he looked up, his heart pounded, seeing Thiet Chow Hung also waking up, fiercely charging at him. Unable to dodge, Lich used both hands to block the bear's sharp teeth, then threw it with all his strength against the earthen wall. Thiet Chow Hung was slightly dazed, but immediately sprang up to attack Lich again. The growls and impact sounds terrified Lich. When he opened his eyes, he saw the bear lunging on him, but sharp spears pierced through the bear's body right before him. Tan stood at the pit's edge, cheerfully saying, Lich, are you satisfied with this custom-designed room? Still shocked, Lich criticized Tan as weak for not daring to face a real fight. Tan waved off the comment, Tell Lich to stay down there and play. Lich angrily shouted, You think I can't get out of this pit? He focused all his Do Dong Chiluk into his hands and quickly climbed out of the pit. Sitting on the pit's edge, Tan praised Strong. You really have some skill. When Lich reached halfway up, Tan suddenly turned away to pick up a large rock. Just as Lich touched the pit's edge, Tan swung the rock at his head, shouting, That's real strength, huh? Lich's head was stunned from the blow, still trying to climb, but lumps appeared all over his head. Lich was furious, seeing Tan dare to treat the tribe's warriors cruelly. Talking too much only brings more pain, Tan said coldly, then struck Lich hard with a stick. Though his face was swollen like a pig's head, Lich refused to submit, yelling a challenge to Tan for a duel. Tan stopped, but immediately kicked Lich hard in the face, shouting loudly, Hey, let's duel right here, watching Lich collapse at the bottom of the pit. Tan shouted, Dongsun is now my territory. The stubborn Lich retorted, This Dongsun was stolen from the Ox tribe by you. Tan sneered lightly. Here you not only tricked me, but also robbed me. Ox tribe? Haven't you always bragged about settling matters with strength? Tan decided to teach Lich a lesson about territorial sovereignty. Aaron, who had just woken up after Tan doused him with cold water, didn't have time to react before Tan dragged him off to deal with the Ox Tribe group. Aaron couldn't believe his eyes when he saw that Lich and the entire Ox Tribe hunting team had fallen into a trap set by Tan. Tan turned back with a voice full of contempt. "Lich, you made me wait too long." Then he ordered Aaron, "Make Lich taste the fire." Aaron immediately summoned the fire beast. Tan relied on the power of the flames to threaten, "If you keep being stubborn, I'll roast you into jerky." Lich roared angrily, "How dare you threaten me? I am—" Tan cut him off mockingly. "I know you're a warrior. You're not afraid to die. You've said this so many times it's getting old." Tan shouted loudly from above, his voice full of cruelty. "Today no one from the Ox Tribe will leave here alive," Lich yelled. "You dare!" Tan replied coldly, "Let me show you what it means to face a madman." Lich was forced to concede, gritting his teeth to announce they would retreat from Dung Sun. Tan pretended not to hear and told Lich to speak louder. Lich had no choice but to shout that they would retreat from Dung Sun. You release the captives, but Tan ignored this, thinking that letting them go so easily would make him lose face, especially since his tribesmen were injured by the Ox Tribe's attack and lost many prey. Lich reluctantly agreed to return the prey that had been taken. Aaron intended to advise Tan to agree, but Tan immediately objected. He suspected Lich would come back to ambush after escaping. Lich then proposed using a tribal pact to guarantee the promise. Meanwhile, at the Veem tribe, angry shouting erupted. Koi was furious because the meat was all stolen, leaving him and the injured nothing but to chew leaves. His followers comforted him, saying that once the hunting team returned, there would be meat to eat. Koi angrily grabbed the collar of a man who had just spoken up. He thought the man looked down on him like Tan only taking benefits without doing anything. DM appeared to report that the hunting team had returned with a large haul. Koi was even angrier, thinking about Tan sharing the spoils like everyone else. He was determined not to let Tan continue to benefit. He believed that tolerating Tan was humiliating to the hunting team. The crowd followed Koi, stirring everyone up to go along with him. They vowed not to let Tan off this time. At the village gate, tribesmen discussed the hunting team's abundant haul, promising a full meal. A long line of animals being dragged back amazed everyone. Aaron reported the successful hunt, catching 10 huge wild beasts. This was the largest haul ever for the Veem tribe. The tribe chief excitedly ordered the prey to be divided, prioritizing the hunting team to choose first. DM led a group appearing and shouted, "Hey Koi, wait a moment. Before the division, we have something to say." The elder shouted loudly, "Koi, what are you planning to do? Step down now!" The people behind Koi and DM simultaneously yelled, demanding Tan be removed from the hunting team. They thought he was a coward who only took benefits. The tribe chief's face, once happy, suddenly darkened as he seriously asked what they were doing. She spoke frankly, responding to the chief, affirming that Tan had never contributed anything to the hunting team, and this haul Tan did not deserve a share of the meat. Those behind Koi also joined in, loudly opposing Tan receiving an equal share with the hunting team. They said he didn't put in any effort at all. Aaron tried to explain, but was immediately stopped by Koi. Uncle Aaron, no need to say more. Today they just can't hold back anymore. DM also joined in, her voice full of anger. Chief, your decision to let Tan join the hunting team was difficult, but Tan has betrayed everyone's trust. DM, like a professional actress, expressed full anger as she recalled that at first she thought Tan was young and ambitious, so she really wanted to teach him hunting skills. But Tan refused to learn. He spent all day eating and drinking without contributing anything to the hunting team. When the whole team was suddenly attacked, everyone fought back desperately, but Tan disappeared without a trace. Koi and the wounded felt their blood was spilled for the tribe while Tan did nothing. Aaron was shocked to hear this and shouted, "Everyone is misunderstanding." But Koi glared angrily and replied, "We're not mistaken. If we don't punish Tan, who will respect us today? Don't expect anyone to defend him." The crowd behind also joined in the determination to drive Tan out of the hunting team. The elder chief, seeing the tension, also spoke up. "Tribal chief, everyone has a point. Tan's behavior hasn't convinced anyone." Aaron still tried to explain, but the elder chief stopped him, advising him to let the tribal chief decide. Finally, believing the crowd had overwhelmed Tan, they loudly demanded that he kneel and apologize to everyone, refusing to let Tan leave so easily. At that moment, Tan was sound asleep on the big bear's back, awakened by the noise. The tribal chief was about to announce his decision about Tan when Aaron interrupted. He shouted loudly, "Everyone listen to me! Aaron pointed at Tan, revealing that all the prey caught today was the achievement of just him alone. Aaron's words left the tribal chief and everyone wide-eyed with astonishment. He pointed to 2 three-eyed wolves which Tan had defeated single-handedly. Tan looked pleased as he recounted the miraculous battle. Although the 2 wolves were fierce and as fast as the wind before Tan's absolute power, they were just like barking dogs. Diem stood aside, her face sour, criticizing Tan. She thought that catching prey was the hunting team's duty and nothing worthy of praise. Koi and the others nearby also joined in loudly. Diem was right. Consider it compensation for the meat lost days ago when the NU tribe sent Lich to attack. Only Tan had disappeared without a trace. Koi looked at his wounds angrily and shouted, "I was seriously injured because of the NU tribe's attack. But what did Tan do? If he met Lich, he'd probably be so scared he'd pee his pants." Koi was sure that if Lich weren't so strong, they wouldn't have to be bandaged like this. At that moment, Aaron's voice rang out like a bell, startling Koi. Aaron revealed that Lich and the hunting team he led had been defeated by Tan alone. These words stirred a buzz among everyone. Koi was both frightened and couldn't believe it was true. Aaron went back to the moment in the Dongsun forest. After Lich declared a pact with the ancestral spirit, he drew a dagger and cut his palm. Blood from the wound spread, forming a strange shape. Seeing Tan confused, Aaron explained that this was the ancestral spirit pact ritual. Lich used his totem to swear an oath binding his soul. Even a family talisman couldn't break it. Under everyone's gaze, Lich knelt on one knee. A divine aura radiated as he murmured the 3 warriors of the Ngu tribe. Ngulik used the totem as proof, swearing before the ancestral spirit never to oppose Vim Tan. He agreed to compensate double the number of lost prey to the Vim tribe. If he broke this, the totem's power would shatter his blood and bones, destroying his soul. As the words ended, Lich's blood condensed into a red token. It flew straight to him as he returned to the Vim tribe. Tan held the ancestral spirit pact that Lich gave him, proudly showing it to everyone. The tribal chief couldn't help but be surprised by Tan's courage and ability. "So what?" Diem spoke up, her face not very pleased. "Could Tan really just rely on luck to easily get away with this?" The crowd couldn't accept that. Those following Koi and Diem immediately shouted in strong opposition. Amid the crowd, a little girl pushed forward. Seeing someone familiar, she happily shouted, "Brother Tan!" "Brother Tan, did you bring back lots of prey to share with everyone again?" The girl's words surprised many people. Tan looked at the girl, smiling brightly as if he was very close to this little sister. Diem was suspicious, thinking that Tan was only good at eating. So how could he have food to share? Diem thought the girl was someone Tan called to make up stories to impress everyone. "Tan isn't acting." The voice of an old man suddenly sounded from below. He was the one who regularly received food from Tan. There was no mistake. At this moment, both Diem and Koi were stunned, but more and more elderly and sick villagers spoke up, confirming they had received help from Tan. The girl happily boasted, "That's right, Brother Tan has been bringing his prey to share with me these past few days." Not only the girl, but Tan also helped many other clan members. Knowing the truth, everyone began to praise Tan. Our main character just scratched his head and smiled foolishly. Koi and Diem panicked when they saw the villagers' angry gazes directed at them. They quickly explained it was a misunderstanding. They had no ill intent, just wanted to speak fairly. Diem turned to seek support from their allies, but saw them surrounding and ready to rush in to reprimand the 2 disliked people. Both grew more furious as those people didn't hesitate to insult them, accusing them of being jealous of Tan's talent. She angrily shouted, "I don't believe that brat Tan hasn't even figured out how to start a fire. What skills does he have?" Aaron immediately turned back and said, "Tan's skills are not small. In the past few days, he has turned all of Dongsun into a maze of traps. From now on, the Flame Clan can hunt safely without worrying about enemy invasion." Diem and Koi grew more heated when they saw Tan proudly say to everyone, "It's just a small matter. Tan is still young, not strong enough, only knows how to use his head." Koi lunged toward Tan, but before he could do anything, a strong arm struck his head, accompanied by an angry roar. "Don't embarrass me anymore." Tan Huang was scared, watching the clan elder lovingly scold his grandson, full of family affection. The clan elder suddenly turned and glanced at Tan Huang, who shouted in panic, "Clan elder, what is it?" "Speak slowly. What's there to discuss?" The clan elder's hand reached toward Tan, making the clan leader curious. Aaron, worried for Tan's safety, shouted, "Clan elder, please don't get agitated." But that hand suddenly stopped and then gently patted his shoulder. "Well done." The clan elder praised Tan for doing very well. See, Tan almost wet his pants from the clan elder's threatening compliment, and in the end, the clan elder grabbed one of his legs and dragged him home for self-reflection. All misunderstandings were cleared up, and the clan leader happily declared, "Today is a day of abundant harvest. Tonight, the whole clan will celebrate." That evening, Tan sat quietly in a corner, chewing on a large piece of meat, watching the clan members play and dance. Suddenly, Tan looked up and asked Koi, "Why is your face so swollen?" And at this time, Koi's miserable appearance was all because of being pampered and loved by his grandfather all afternoon. He stammered Koi wanted to cry when Tan thought he had come to cause trouble. It turned out he was called by the clan elder to bow his head and apologize. Brother Tan hesitated, his voice full of worry. "Clan elder, what are you doing?" After finishing his cup to regain his spirit, the clan elder admitted he was rude, not used to using his brains, and had a hot temper. He frankly acknowledged that he had underestimated Tan before. Tan was stunned when he saw the two clan elders kneeling and apologizing to him. Standing frozen, his mind in chaos suddenly, Tan turned around, gripping the knife at his side tightly, his voice cold as ice. "Want to erase the past? It's not impossible." Tan's face hardened as he demanded the clan elder let him strike once. Tan's words stunned both elders, and the people around looked at each other confused about what was happening. Was Tan planning to harm the clan elder? Tan tried to hold back but was stopped by the clan elder, who said he would take responsibility and wouldn't oppose whatever Tan wanted to do. Everyone feared Tan would lose control. Urging him to calm down despite all advice, Tan swung the knife hard toward the clan elder. "Blood flowed," Tan said solemnly. Seeing the wound on the clan elder's arm, Koi panicked and shouted, "Grandfather!" Tan carefully looked at the wound, took out a medicine pouch from his side, and sprinkled it on the injury. Everyone thought Tan was too cruel, chopping and then poisoning. How could he do that? Suddenly, the clan elder raised his hand to signal everyone to be quiet. He realized the wound had stopped bleeding. Could this be? The great elder couldn't believe his eyes, whispering. Tan, with a smug look, juggling the medicine pouch in his hand, said, "This is the super blood-stopping medicine I just researched." The great elder's eyes lit up and asked again, "You say this powder can stop bleeding quickly?" "Yes." Tan confirmed, explaining that cutting the great elder was only to prove the medicine's effectiveness. Tan smiled, thinking to himself, how would primitive people know about Yunnan white medicine? The great elder held the medicine pouch happily and said, "Good cut with this medicine, a few slashes won't matter." He muttered at the end, "Why not cut yourself?" Tan turned coldly. "Medicine doesn't heal itself. Do you understand this principle?" Tan, like an adult teaching a child, thought that Koi was still young and needed time to understand. Koi felt pitiful. His grandfather now only paid attention to the medicine pouch and no longer cared about him. The tribe members shouted, "Hooga hooga," when they heard the great elder introduce the medicine. With this, the hunting team no longer fears getting injured. Today was the 10th day of hunting, and this was the third prey of the day. Thanks to Tan, the hunter's efficiency improved significantly. Someone holding a bird praised, "The trap is reusable, catching prey on any terrain." A tribesman ran over to report a large prey caught in a trap. Looking at the large animal in the pit, everyone compared it to before and saw much progress. This prey was enough to feed the whole tribe for several days. Tan was increasingly loved and trusted by everyone. People were discussing the chief's intention to nurture Tan as the successor. Unintentionally, two elders overheard. The second elder angrily scolded everyone, believing that internal matters should not be discussed publicly. The second elder realized the great elder had changed. He did not get angry at people's talk, but instead praised Tan's abilities. The great elder thought simply whoever deserved it could become the chief. If Tan wanted, he must prove his abilities further to earn everyone's respect. Hearing the great elder's words, the second elder was silent, his eyes calculating some plan. Today's hunting results were very good, with prey piled up. The person in charge of collection said today's mission was exceeded, but he hesitantly suggested Tan and Aaron bring back fewer prey next time. Tan was surprised. Isn't more always better? Suddenly, a tribesman eating collapsed, crying out in pain. That's why the number must be reduced. The supervisor said many people had recently gotten sick from eating meat. Seeing the spoiled meat on the ground, Tan realized he had overlooked a big problem. Primitive people didn't know how to preserve food. Tan held his head. This was indeed a tough problem that needed immediate solving. At the Ngu tribe, tension filled the air when a cup shattered right where Lich was sitting. The Ngu chief was full of anger, unable to accept Lich's refusal to follow his orders. In his hand was an anonymous letter he considered a rare golden opportunity. Lich, with suspicion, expressed distrust in the informant whose identity remained a mystery. He also emphasized that assassination and ambush were not actions of a true warrior. Ngu, in his rage, roared that his tribesmen were starving and he no longer cared about honor or face, focusing only on survival. Suddenly, several figures appeared outside the tent, and a voice mocked Lich. "If you're afraid of getting your hands dirty and care too much about face, then get out now." 4 strangers entered Ngu's tent. Among them, Lich recognized 3 from the Lam tribe who came to help Ngu deal with the Viam tribe. This frightened Lich. Ngu suspected Lich had already accepted defeat to Tan of the Viam tribe. Holding a map sent by a mysterious person, Ngu shouted, "This map clearly marks all the traps on Dongsun Mountain. No need to be afraid." Lich replied skeptically, "What if this map is fake? That would only cause even greater losses for the Ngu tribe." Ngu believed the map could not be fake and thought someone in the Viam tribe was using others to deal with Tan. Ngu and Lich angrily shouted that if so, they definitely couldn't cooperate with such people. He decided to refuse involvement no matter what Ngu said. Lich warned Ngu that even if he wanted to deal with the Viam tribe, he shouldn't seek help from the Lam tribe. 2 Lam tribe members immediately began to mock and provoke Lich, making him furious. One Lam tribe member sneered, "So what, aren't we right?" who was beaten until the entire army was captured and humiliated before returning. In his rage, Lich wanted to use the power of Dodong to suppress them, but surprisingly the whole Lam tribe remained unaffected and calm. The man wearing a black cloak standing behind the Lam tribe chief radiated a mysterious aura that suppressed Lich's momentum. But Lich shouted in panic, "Dark power." Then he realized it was null power. After the mysterious man emitted a mystical, null aura, both chiefs respectfully saluted and called him Master Priest. Lich was terrified, not understanding how such a small Lam tribe could have a Master Priest. The cold, mysterious Master Priest asked Lich why he defied Ngu's orders. Lich remained silent. The Master Priest suddenly released a terrifying aura intending to punish Lich for betraying the tribe. Ngu quickly intervened, believing Lich only had a moment of confusion and no real intention to betray. Ngu turned to Lich and said that he would handle the Yan tribe and Lich should no longer be stubborn. Lich knew Ngu was protecting him but had to bow his head and refuse. Disobeying the order, Lich knelt before Ngu and recounted how he made a covenant with the ancestral spirits, promising not to oppose Tan. These words made Ngu lose his composure. The Lam tribe members were also surprised and curious about the person who could make a tribal warrior swear an oath. Ngu told of how Tan set traps in Dongsun Mountain, causing Lich and the Ngu tribe hunters great suffering. Seeing Lich kneeling in despair, Ngu didn't expect Tan to oppress him so much that he had to make a covenant with the ancestral spirits. The mysterious Master Priest smiled slyly, intrigued by Tan, who he still considered an unknown question. Back at the Yan tribe in Dongsun Mountain, Tan gleefully showed off a giant bamboo shoot he had just dug up. Seeing the excited look on Sister Panda's face, Tan handed her the bamboo shoot. Receiving the treat, Sister Panda immediately devoured it. Tan told her that from now on, giving up meat and eating bamboo shoots is what makes a true panda. The two enthusiastically dug for bamboo shoots together and soon gathered a large pile. Tan, exhausted, sat down heavily on the ground, gasping for breath. Sister Panda hurriedly hugged the pile of bamboo shoots, afraid they would disappear. Her adorable expression made Tan love her even more. Tan waved goodbye to Sister Panda. "You have to return to the tribe." Sister Panda didn't want Tan to leave, but after he promised to return tomorrow, she reluctantly gave him a bamboo shoot. Tan joked, "Oh, my Sister Panda dug all day and you only give me one shoot." Sister Panda then made a pitiful face and hugged the remaining bamboo shoots tightly. Tan knew she treasured him, which was why she gave him that bamboo shoot. On the way back, Tan sang happily as he walked. Suddenly, a group of Lam tribe members armed with weapons surrounded and blocked his path. Tan didn't understand how they could have gotten into Dongsun Mountain. The bald-headed man spoke up, saying Tan's little tricks wouldn't trouble them. Seeing how they perfectly bypassed the traps, Tan guessed someone must have leaked the layout map outside. Not wanting to be caught, Tan launched his iron defense traps at the surrounding group and then quickly ran away. Some Lam tribe members were caught in the traps, but the bald man still held his spear and charged fiercely toward Tan. Luckily, Tan stopped just in time to avoid it. Others also hurled spears, frightening Tan. He quickly ran to hide behind a large rock, but the rock was smashed to pieces by them. After a while of hiding, Tan was chased by another group. While running, he suddenly stopped when he saw a Lamb tribe member blocking the front. The group closed in, determined to eliminate Tan. At the critical moment, one of them fell after being hit by an arrow. It turned out Tan had managed to take out a crossbow and shoot. Hidden in the forest, the bald man caught up and shouted, asking what was happening. Yan Tan, the injured Lamb tribe leader, warned to be careful with Tan's strange items. The crowd shouted hooga hooga, splitting into smaller groups to chase Tan all over Dongsan Mountain, determined not to let him escape. The mysterious master priest also followed the group in pursuit, intrigued by this kid. The Lamb tribe's shouts echoed throughout the forest as they repeatedly clashed with other Lamb groups. Tan didn't understand how many of them there were. Lamb Clan's Tung received the order to summon the wooden dragon spear and shoot it at Tan. Sensing danger, Tan barely managed to turn and use his shoulder armor to absorb the blow. He thought to himself that he would have been crippled if not for the armor. But at that moment, the piece of armor on Tan's shoulder shattered into pieces. Watching the vicious group relentlessly attack Tan and thinking of a way to escape as they closed in, he suddenly came up with a plan and quickly threw his grappling hook onto a tree branch. Tan climbed up the rope. It was his first time doing this, and he was a bit clumsy, but he finally managed to hold on to the tree. The Lamb Clan members intended to rush forward but were stopped. Tung ordered everyone to stop and not advance any further. Tung, trembling with fear, shouted loudly, warning them not to come closer. If they did, he would have no way to retreat. Tung stood silently and summoned his chi power, striking forcefully forward. Tan frowned, his eyes full of suspicion as he looked toward the trap pits he had dug earlier, now exposed before him. Tung spoke disdainfully to Tan, "Those traps of ours cover all these big pits. Do you think I don't know?" He was determined not to let Tan escape like before. This time, Tung would use his full strength. The escape plan failed. Tan regretted, silently muttering that all he could do now was use it to buy some time. In Tan's hand was an unfinished secret weapon tube, the Heavenly Maiden spreading nails. Tan pulled the trigger to activate it, sending a barrage of hidden weapons straight at the Lamb Clan. Tan's secret weapon caught the enemy off guard, and all were hit by the attack. Tung pulled out a piece of the hidden weapon and shouted loudly to the Lamb Clan warriors not to fear pain. Suddenly, a clansman saw swollen lips and panicked, shouting as 5 who were hit by the hidden weapons trembled, noticing their lips were swelling too. Seeing the Lamb Clan panic, Tan triumphantly shouted that they had fallen under his soul-tracking half-mad spell. If they moved, they would die instantly. Tan's threat terrified the group while he calmly jumped down from the tree. Tung and the others stood still, afraid to move for fear of death. At that moment, the long-bearded captain just arrived and some newcomers shouted in alarm. The captain ordered everyone to stand still and wait. He said he would catch Tan and then come back to rescue him. Feeling awkward seeing the newcomers excitedly chasing, he hurriedly ran away. Tung, what should we do?" asked one clansman. Tung told them to just stand still and not be afraid. As long as they didn't move, they would be safe. One clansman looked up at the sky, stammering, but said it would be hard to keep that posture for long. Tung angrily shouted that even if they couldn't hold it, they had to. Did they want to die? The one who spoke couldn't bear it anymore and collapsed, dragging the others down with him. Everyone cried, thinking this time death was certain. Tung shouted loudly that the Lamb Clan had no cowards. Even in death, they would die with honor. The priest appeared, looking at the group with suspicion. Tung said, "Please don't ruin the warriors' moment of glory. They've fallen under Tan's spell. This is their last strength." The priest approached to check, then angrily said it was just ordinary bee venom. They had been tricked. Tung, both angry and humiliated, roared, "Damn it, I will make Yan Tan pay." He called on the group to chase after Tan, vowing no mercy. Tan ran desperately but could not escape the pursuing Lamb Clan. The group saw Tan's figure ahead but hesitated to continue the chase because he was heading into the territory of the Beast King Dong Sun. "If we enter, we'll be attacked." "What's going on? Why are you stopping?" the captain asked. He realized ahead was the Dong Sun restricted zone, the Beast King's domain. Tan had caused heavy losses to the Lamb Clan. If they returned empty-handed, the clan would lose face. The group refused to give up, overcoming fear, to rush into the restricted area, determined to catch Tan. At this point, Tan was exhausted, bent over, gasping for breath. His legs no longer obeyed his commands. He painfully realized the stamina of a 12-year-old child had reached its limit. The Lamb Clan members chased closely behind. The furious voice of the captain rang out, Kid, you better stand still. We'll give you a quick death. Tan was truly cornered now. All his self-defense weapons had been used up. No one can save you today. Tung's voice full of resentment echoed. The team captain ordered everyone to quickly eliminate Tan. They shouldn't stay in this area too long. Tan panicked as he saw people armed from all sides rushing toward him. Seeing the weapon getting closer and closer, Tan thought he would definitely die this time, but maybe this time he wouldn't be transported through time again. Tan closed his eyes to accept his fate, silently thinking that next time he shouldn't transmigrate into a child again. He must become a noble king. The group rushing forward suddenly stopped in front of them as the fierce roar of a wild beast sounded. A large, heavy figure suddenly appeared behind Tan. This is the team captain," stammered in panic. "The Beast King of Dongsan." In the Dongsan mountain range, there is a legend that deep in the ancient forest hides a giant monster whose roar shakes the heavens and earth, clearly heard by the 3 tribes nearby. Its strength surpasses any creature in the mountains. Wherever it goes, it leaves devastation. Monsters that dare challenge it are tortured to death. Seeing the huge figure before him, the team captain trembled. He was sure the Dongsan mountain monster had appeared. Tan was surprised to see the Lam tribe people looking at him with fear and trembling, staring intently as if at something behind him. Tan suddenly turned around and saw the familiar round belly of the panda sister. The Beast King of Dongsan Mountain that everyone talked about was actually this panda sister. Tan smiled happily and murmured, "Oh my God, you are my savior." Tan hurriedly ran over to the adorable panda sister. The Lam tribe people stood still with wide eyes, thinking Tan had gone crazy for daring to charge toward the Beast King. Tan approached and raised his hand to greet Panda Sister. The panicked voice of the Lam tribe team captain rang out, "This kid is crazy. If he angers the Beast King, he's definitely dead." Tung suggested the Lam tribe should hurry and escape. Tan cheerfully shook hands and greeted Panda Sister, hugging her round belly. Tan happily said, "You came just in time." Seeing the intimate expression between Tan and the fierce Beast King from the rumors, the Lam tribe people gaped in shock. Even more terrifying was that Tan was being carried on the Beast King's shoulder. Panda Sister roared angrily when she heard Tan say those people had bullied him. Panda Sister's angry aura caused the entire Lam tribe to panic and fear. The Lam tribe team captain shouted to rally his people. "The Beast King of Dongsan is just a big beast. The glorious Lam tribe warriors fear nothing." He grabbed his weapon and led the group charging at Panda Sister. His shout excited the people behind him. Suddenly, the whole group froze silent and terrified as they watched Panda Sister swing her arm and slam the team captain face first into the ground. Panda Sister roared angrily, her whole body filled with energy. Tan shouted joyfully, "Big Sister, turns out you are the legendary Super Panda." Panda Sister lifted the team captain and threw him like trash toward the Lam tribe group. The group showed fear on their faces as they saw Panda Sister appear behind them at an incredible speed. Her large hand slammed down toward them. From Panda Sister's body appeared a faint ghost image of ancient script armor. Her hand slammed the ground, cracking the earth. The Lam tribe members hit by the blow were thrown away. From a distance, the shaman suddenly saw one of the Lam tribe flying toward him. Panda Sister was pleased when Tan praised her shaman as invincible. Both happily played and tapped hands to celebrate the victory. Tung, lying unconscious nearby, suddenly woke up, grabbed his weapon, and charged, shouting, "You hateful beast, prepare to die!" Holding a hammer, Tung gathered all his strength and struck hard at Big Sister. But when he realized the hammer in his hand was broken, Tung froze, speechless. Big Sister glanced at him with contempt, then opened her mouth and unleashed a blast of energy directly toward Tung. The shaman outside had grasped the entire situation through secret techniques. Evil aura was condensed by the shaman. Tan suddenly turned to look into the distance. His intuition warned him that a danger was lurking. Big Sister also sensed a terrifying aura heading toward her, but it was not very clear. Suddenly, Tan saw a mass of black fog rushing toward them. He shouted at the boss lady, "Quick run! There's no time!" Tan was terrified when he saw the mist wrapping around his arm. A painful sensation took over his body as the mysterious mist invaded through his arm, making Tan groan in pain before fainting, falling from the boss lady's shoulder to the ground. The boss lady was no better, surrounded by the mist and trapped in a lump. Time passed, and the mist seemed to have successfully infiltrated, revealing the boss lady's motionless body lying next to Tan. The injured forest tribe members watched from afar, but none dared to come closer. The mysterious shaman appeared after defeating Tan and the boss lady. He approached the boss lady, intending to use her large body to create a puppet for sorcery. Discovering Tan's life energy was still faintly flickering, the shaman prepared to finish him off. At that moment, the boss lady suddenly woke up, her eyes staring straight at the shaman. He panicked, and before he could react, the boss lady delivered a powerful blow that knocked him backwards, sliding on the ground. Seizing the opportunity despite her pain, the boss lady tried to drag Tan away from the scene. "Run now," a forest tribe member shouted while chasing them. "No need to chase," the shaman coldly ordered. The boss lady's attack had seriously wounded him. A cruel smile spread across his face, confident that it was only a matter of time before the darkness consumed and killed them both. The shaman's identity remained a mystery, and darkness was a taboo in this world. Night fell over a mysterious mountain range. After escaping the forest tribe, the boss lady tirelessly carried Tan to this place. When feeling safe, the boss lady gently laid the still unconscious Tan down. Then she too collapsed beside Tan, exhausted from the darkness invading her body. Time passed, unclear how long, until a drop of stalactite fell from the ceiling onto Tan's forehead. At that moment, a strange phenomenon occurred. A mysterious object shot out from inside Tan's head, quickly absorbing all the dark energy from his body. Tan's body showed no trace of evil energy anymore. Sensing Tan was about to wake, the mysterious object immediately retreated back into his head. Tan suddenly opened his eyes, confused, checked his body, and said, "I'm okay." He turned his head to find the boss lady panicking when he saw her lying motionless, her body invaded by darkness. Tan suddenly recalled that before fainting, they had been attacked by dark energy. He planned to find food to help the boss lady recover. As he stepped out of the cave, Tan froze, staring ahead. Winter mist had arrived. The black mist was slowly approaching. Suddenly, it seemed like something on Tan made the mist hesitate, withdrawing and flying off elsewhere. Tan stood still, watching the purple mist gather. They seemed to become a living entity, opening their eyes with a fierce glare fixed on him. A grating sound rang out as the one-eyed mist lunged quickly at Tan. In a surprising and strange moment, a giant foot suddenly appeared out of nowhere, crushing the dense mist. Tan was both shocked and scared, wanting to scream, but couldn't. Before him was a giant figure approaching, making Tan look no bigger than a tiny ant. Despite his fear, Tan gritted his teeth and stood firm. Behind him was the exhausted panda boss lady after the battle. Tan thought he was about to die, but unexpectedly the giant figure stopped and slowly vanished mysteriously without a trace. Tan was bewildered, unsure if what he witnessed was an illusion or reality. The aura radiating from that giant figure was truly terrifying. When Tan looked around, it suddenly appeared behind him again, almost causing him to lose control. The panda boss lady sensed danger outside. Worried for Tan, she tried to get away. Tan rushed over anxiously. "Don't move, you need rest. Why are you up already?" The boss lady wanted to go deeper into the cave. Tan thought maybe there was something inside to help her heal. He tried to support the panda boss lady, panting, "You're too heavy, this won't work." Tan said, "Boss lady, hold tight around my neck and try to carry me." Despite his stiff body, Tan persisted step by step forward, but after just one step he tripped over a stone and both fell hard to the ground. Tan hurriedly reassured, "Calm down, it's just a slight technical error." Tan continued to try, his voice full of determination. "You got hurt because of me, I will definitely help you." He also thought to himself, this is the first time carrying a panda. If anyone knew, they would surely admire it. The two Tans shouted loudly as they took each step forward. After a long stretch, he noticed light ahead, setting the panda elder down to catch her breath, panting heavily. Ahead seemed to be an altar. The panda elder struggled to crawl toward the light. The dark black smoke on her body gradually receded. Tan noticed the traces of darkness had lessened. Looking toward the altar, he was surprised to see a skull placed on a stone pedestal. Tan guessed this object was what was driving away the dark aura. The panda elder nodded in agreement. Tan immediately reached out toward the skull, but suddenly its eye sockets flashed and a protective layer enveloped the skull. Tan was thrown back by the recoil. He muttered, "Damn it, it has a protective shield." Gritting his teeth, he charged again, but was thrown back once more. Like a stubborn cockroach, he kept charging forward, but was repeatedly pushed back. Sensing the panda elder's worry, Tan reassured her, "Don't worry, I promise to help you, and I will." His face streaked with blood. Tan shouted loudly, "Today, even if the Heavenly King comes, he won't stop me." He rushed to the stone pedestal, using all his strength to grab the skull. His eyes flashed with supreme fierceness, and the protective shield was broken. Tan stepped onto the stone pedestal opposite the skull. Suddenly, a new trial appeared before his eyes, seeming to be the 9 palaces of the Luo Shu. Tan looked at the skull and asked, "You want me to solve this?" He said seriously, "Today, whether I rise to the heavens or jump into a boiling pan, I have to defeat you." Tan began moving the formation but suddenly felt pain, realizing he didn't have much time left. The dark aura on the Panda Elder's body was gradually dispersing. Tan endured the pain, his voice fierce. "I'm risking everything here. If you don't heal the panda, well, see how I deal with you." He had solved the formation up to the final step of the 9 double-one moves in the 9 palaces. Tan's voice rang out full of determination. A strange light burst forth, enveloping Tan's body, causing him to squint. Before him, a floating skull appeared, making Tan exclaim, "What exactly are you?" Suddenly, Tan realized the wounds on his body were gradually disappearing. The sensation was very comfortable, he muttered. At that moment, Tan suddenly remembered the Panda Elder who needed healing. Holding the skull, he quickly went to her side, but then became confused, realizing he didn't know how to use this item. There were no instructions at all. Tan muttered, and suddenly a pure divine light shot out from the eye socket between the skull's brows, enveloping the Panda Elder. The dark aura that was invading the Panda Elder's body was quickly driven away. Tan joyfully said to the Panda Elder, "When you wake up, you'll be the undefeated Beast King of Dongsan Mountain." But suddenly he screamed in horror as blood flowed from the Panda Elder, soaking the ground. Meanwhile, at the Flame Tribe, an emergency meeting was underway. Aaron informed the tribe leader and 2 elders that no one knew where Tan was. He suggested organizing a hunting party to go up Dongsan Mountain to search for the Great Elder, suspecting that Tan might be hiding somewhere nearby just to watch everyone worry. However, upon hearing Aaron say he had searched everywhere around the Flame Tribe, the tribe leader began to worry. If Tan stays on the mountain and gets trapped in the dark aura, the consequences could be severe. The Great Elder lost his temper and interrupted, "The dark aura is extremely dangerous. That kid is probably done for." The second elder calmly advised everyone, "Calm down, we can't be sure Tan is lost yet. He's smarter than most. If he really is on the mountain, he must have a way to escape the dark aura." The hot-tempered Great Elder shouted, "What good is talking? Quickly gather people to search the mountain." The rest of the villagers also conducted a search. When everyone left, the tribe leader and the second elder remained standing silently. Suddenly, the second elder gave a mysterious smile. Back in the cave, Tan's clothes were soaked with the Panda Elder's blood. He had tried everything but couldn't stop the bleeding. "Why is the bleeding still happening?" Tan worriedly muttered. He comforted the Panda Elder, "Don't worry," and decided to go out to find herbs to stop the bleeding and restore strength. "Just rest here and wait for me to come back," Tan said, then quickly ran out of the cave. Fortunately, he quickly found hemostatic herbs and wild fruits to replenish his strength. With his survival skills, Tan also found drinking water. "I'm back!" Tan's cheerful voice rang out as he ran toward the big sister carrying the food he'd found, but suddenly Tan panicked and dropped everything in his hands. Before him, blood was flooding from the big sister, and a little baby appeared on her body. The little beastlet, sensing a stranger, let out some immature sounds. Tan hesitated and said, "So, it's you." Suddenly he understood that the big sister had endured the darkness's harm to give birth to the little baby. Tan gave the things he had painstakingly found to the big sister to eat and recover. The big sister was a mother for the first time. Despite the pain, she looked at the little baby with deep affection. Suddenly, a pure energy aura appeared around the little baby and was absorbed into its body. Before long, the tiny little beastlet had become an adorable little baby. Tan was surprised to see the little baby not afraid of him, but clinging and climbing onto his chest. Looking at the little baby, Tan praised, "It's just like Big Sister, both are super beasts." He held the little baby in his arms and showed it off to the big sister. "This is your son. In a few years, this little baby will definitely be as mighty as you are now." The panda big sister looked at her son with tender eyes and gently licked the little baby's face. The little baby sat attentively listening to Tan say, "Your son must be strong and grow mighty like your mother. Your mother is honored by everyone as the Beast King." Tan happily told the little baby to wait for its mother to recover. They would definitely make the Ox tribe understand what cruelty really means. Tan turned to look at the big sister who had been silent all this time without a word. Tan frowned, feeling worried. The panda big sister lay there motionless. Tan went numb, realizing the big sister's heartbeat seemed to have stopped panicking. Tan told himself, "That's right, I found the medicine, I'll cure you, just wait for me a moment." Tan hurriedly took out the herbs from his bag, then looked back at the little baby and told it not to worry, its mother would be fine with him here. Suddenly, the panda big sister woke up and took a light breath behind Tan. It was the first awakening. Tan leapt up joyfully. The big sister gazed at Tan for a moment, then sadly shook her head. She felt the life force in her body gradually fading. This awakening was only a fleeting reflection. Tan trembled, looking at the big sister, trying to stay calm, saying, "Don't think nonsense, you will be fine. I will definitely cure you." Tan encouraged the big sister, affirming that the traces of darkness had been eliminated and she was only weakened from childbirth. The big sister weakly licked the little baby's fur. Tan continued, "You just need to eat well and rest, and you will gradually recover." Tan was surprised when the big sister gently pushed the little baby toward herself. "What are you going to do?" Tan asked in a trembling voice, panicked. "Don't entrust it like that. You have to take care of the child yourself later." The panda big sister looked at Tan with eyes full of regret and hope. Tan lowered his head, not daring to look directly, shouting, "I said I will cure you. You don't trust others, but you have to trust me." Tan burst into angry tears, punched the ground, and shouted, "The ritual family, the mountain sea trials, taming the beasts of the East Mountain tribe, no one from the Ox tribe can challenge me." Tan looked up, eyes full of tears, voice trembling. "You hang on just a little longer." Tan collapsed, speaking through tears. "You wait. I will find medicine for you. You still have to raise the little baby, teach him to grow up and become the beast king of the East Mountain." Realizing the big sister, Tan slowly stepped beside her and burst into sobs. "You can't die." The panda big sister licked the tears from Tan's face, then her large body slowly collapsed. Tan realized the big sister's life force had dissipated. He cried out in grief, pounding the ground repeatedly with both hands to relieve his pain. Tan shouted in frustration, unable to believe that protecting him had cost the big sister her life. Looking at the big sister's still body, Tan wished for a miracle to bring her back to life. They would hold a grand bamboo shoot feast together again, and however many bamboo shoots she wanted to dig, Tan would dig for her. Seeing Tan crying, the little baby stepped forward and wiped his tears with its tiny tongue. Tan hugged the little baby tightly. That was the panda big sister's final wish. Tan told himself there was still much to do and he couldn't sit here feeling down. The image of the person who killed the big sister was etched deeply in his mind. Tan's voice hardened. "Panda big sister, even if I couldn't save you, the one who harmed you will definitely pay. I swear to heaven that the man in black who spilled your blood will pay with his own." Tan clenched his fists tightly, gritting his teeth. "Even if he's a ritual master, I will come after him to take his life." Looking at the funeral of Big Sister Panda, Tan promised he would complete every task assigned to him. He is determined to raise little Bao Bao to be a mighty and proud panda like her mother. As long as Tan is alive, he won't let anyone harm little Bao Bao. After digging with his bare hands for a while, Tan finally finished the grave for Big Sister to rest in peace. With every handful of soil, Tan threw down a farewell, echoed, "We part ways here, Big Sister, rest in peace." Standing in front of the new grave, Tan shouted a vow to fulfill all his promises. Tan called little Bao Bao to say goodbye to his mother, then decided to take the child back to the Yan clan. Holding little Bao Bao in his arms, Tan reassured him that he had some influence there and would protect him.